You are listening to Tomorrow's Legends with Havok and Shadowcat. They ought to be talking about X-Men 97, led by me, Magneto. But I suppose it's acceptable if they deign to speak of some other people.
"30 years ago, one of the greatest animated series of all time went off the air. But now it's returning to our screens, and the mutants will rise again. X-Men 97 continues the story of Wolverine, Rogue, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and more as they try to move forward from the loss of their leader, Professor Charles Xavier. Join Havok and Shadowcat on this new adventure as they bring you the stories of X-Men 97. This is Tomorrow's Legends."
That is right. Welcome, fellow mutants, to X-Men 97, and we are off and running, Shadowcat. Season 2 of the X-Men is here, and man, are we excited. Well, I mean, I know I'm at least excited. I can barely contain my power. This show is so damn good, they really should make it 20 or so episodes like the old days. There's just too much to deal with in such a short amount of time. Enough with this 10-episode crap. I am Havok.
And I'm I can finally talk about all of this, Shadowcat.
Yes, you can. You got to watch it live before anybody else, and now we get to actually discuss it. And episode 3, episode 3 was brand new to you, so we'll be covering that one next week. Yes,
that was completely new. Didn't see that one.
Completely new, yeah. Well, let's get into it. We got a lot to cover tonight, so just a bit of a news, not really a big news thing, but something to talk about anyway.
We interrupt this podcast for a special report.
Yeah, what are you bringing for us?
Yeah, it's just a quick promo that a company is doing for X-Men 97 promotion. So, Dave's Hot Chicken, which is a chicken chain, a restaurant.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say we got ones up here called Chicken on the Run, so it sounds very much the same.
These ones, I don't know where like their main location is. They're kind of really far and few between where I live. I do drive past one on my way to one of my jobs.
Right.
But so Dave's Hot Chicken, they are doing it started on July 1st, the premiere date for X-Men 97, but they are actually doing something called an X meal. So it's basically, think of like an adult Happy Meal, because it's a meal, but it comes with a toy, an X-Men toy. And so there are 4 different little figures that you can get. It's a blind bag that you get with your meal, so you don't know who you're getting until you open it. But they have the future outfits for Jean, Scott, Storm, and Wolverine. So you can collect all 4 if you'd like. I did happen to go on Wednesday because I was driving past one on my way to work. So I was like, I gotta go pick up an X meal.
Yes.
And I got, for those who were watching the video, I got a little Wolverine.
I'll check him out.
So,
yeah, hold them a little closer to the camera so you get a good...
There you go.
Those are actually pretty highly detailed. Wow.
So if anyone is near a Dave's Hot Chicken and you feel like you want to go toy collecting...
Yeah.
You can pick up one of those and get an X meal.
I want a Dave's Hot Chicken meal. Come on.
A bunch of us have been posting and being like, who did you get? Who did you get? And now we all got because I wanted a Storm, but I got Wolverine. But
well, if you keep going and you get doubles, Abby, send them my way.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
If you get doubles, yeah. Well, since it's show and tell, I pulled this out because I was going to show it. And of course, podcast listeners aren't going to get to enjoy this, but here's my newest version of Rogue that I got. Drawn by my favorite artist, Dawn McTeague. So she commissioned this, and then she saved a copy of it for me. So
nice.
That is, I just love Dawn's art style, and yeah, so she saved a Rogue just for me. So I'll post a picture of it on the Facebook page for you podcast listeners that can't see it, because I haven't gotten in the videos up yet. The video editing is just so dang time-consuming. I haven't been able to get to any of releasing the videos yet, but away we go. Well, there you go. So just some fun promotional stuff. I mean, if you're in the States, go to Dave's Hot Chicken and let's start sharing the love and sharing the toys. Let's see if we can get them all, because, man, I wonder. I mean, I'm only I'm about 4 hours from the border, so I could drive across into Spokane, Washington, and go to a Dave's Hot Chicken. Maybe, I don't know.
If you wanted to drive 4 hours
for an X-Men toy.
for
I mean, I haven't been to
toy.
Spokane in a long time. I used to go down there all the time when I lived closer, and because there used to be a point when the Canadian dollar was much closer to the U.S. dollar, so we could go shopping. And the prices that you guys have for things down there is just absolutely ridiculous. Like,
I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Living down here in the States, I do agree.
Well, I mean, whether it's food or whether you're shopping, I can look at the exact same TV, might be $500 in the States, but it's $1,500 up here for the exact same thing. And then for food down there, you guys get all your food for crazy prices. Like grocery shopping up here is just off the charts. You know, like a dozen eggs is like $12 now. It's like $1 per egg. Just it's crazy.
Our prices are just keep going up too.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a story for a whole nother time. All right. Well, if you're tuning in to X-Men 97 for the first time, and we've been releasing a lot of preseason stuff, but if you're just here to check out season 2, we are just one of the many shows on the Cybercast Network here. It all began with Legends of Tomorrow, and then we covered Stargirl and Superman and Lois, and now we're doing X-Men 97 and Jupiter's Legacy, the Tomorrow People, and we got the new Green Lantern show, just simply called Lanterns, that's coming in August, so look forward to that on the network here. And then Dive Into DC is one of our other shows, and that's the Silver Fox and Green Butterfly, and they talk about everything DC, and they are just about ready to talk about Supergirl, the movie. So if you've seen the movie, send in your feedback to them over there and check it out. I'm sure they're expecting and hoping to get a lot of feedback for that movie. I did just see it on the weekend myself. I'm not that thrilled with it. I'll say that right now. I'll save it for my feedback for their show. I did like it better than Superman because it was more of a space adventure than another superhero story here on Earth. The same old, same old. And that's kind of what I've been finding is that the DC characters are getting boring. They keep rebooting it every couple of years. They're rebooting it, recasting it, and they're telling the same stories, and I'm getting a little tired of it. It's not very exciting. And I just found Supergirl overall to be kind of dull. There are some good parts to it, but it was overall just kind of a been there, done that, seen this before type of feeling, and that's because it's the James Gunn stuff, and it felt very Guardians of the Galaxy. It felt very Peter Quill in a red skirt kind of thing. Like, I'm just like, I don't think there's any creativity happening over there. They're just going to the same cupboard and pulling out the same stuff and just re-skinning it with new outfits, new whatever. It's all feeling very familiar and kind of washed up and dried out. So I don't know. It was, I wouldn't call it Supergirl. I would call it Okay Girl, if I had to put it lightly. Did you see it, Abby?
I have not seen it yet. I have not seen Superman yet either. Oh. I have not gotten to the movies in a while.
Yeah, well, I said it here last week. I'm a Marvel fanboy, and I just find Marvel, all of their stories, all their characters, everything Marvel does is just far superior to DC. DC's just, I don't know. Anyway, my feelings. Let's move on with the X-Men here. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention you also got Firefly still flying. That's another show on the network, and we're talking about the hotly anticipated Firefly Revival animated show coming out. And then if you're into Star Wars, as your sci-fi, The Mandalore talks about all Star Wars stuff, everything on Disney Plus and the movies. So check out all our Star Wars coverage. We got, like, I can't remember how many episodes we got going on over there, 175 episodes or something already of Star Wars. So check all of that stuff out. But let's get into the first episode of this one. It was called Days of Future Past, and we've got...
Past Future. Days of Past Future.
Oh, did I typed it up wrong?
It's okay, because Days of Future Past is the normal.
Is the normal Days
phrase,
of Past? Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to have to correct that note. So Days of Past Future. Let's get into that episode with some ratings.
Yeah, X-Men fans, this is Sunspot, and it's time to give our ratings for the latest episode.
All right, thank you, Sunspot. Thank you, Guy. I'm giving this first one a 9. We're back, babies, thanks to Wolverine. How do you return after a couple years and get everyone excited again? This is how. Stirring up the emotion right off the bat and diving into the future storyline, we are off and running with no time wasted. See that? No time wasted. All the little timey-wimey fun tricks, the powers being used, the emotional and dramatic story beats, and the dialogue. This is not a corny show at all. It's raw and it hits hard, and this is only the beginning. We're off and running, like I said.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit below you. I gave this 8 full speed ahead trains. 'Cause this, I also said the season wasted no time jumping right into the plot, throwing us right into one of the timelines that the X-Men are scattered into, giving us a glimpse of what's to come if Apocalypse is allowed to rise to power. Gave us big action sequences along with big family dynamics that were already kind of pulling at the heartstrings with all the summer stuff.
Yes.
And if this is the first episode and we're already like starting to get the team back together, like what is the rest of the season?
Yeah.
If we're already at this point.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about that. Like they're all coming together pretty soon. That they won't be lost in time anymore. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I really didn't expect it to only in one episode, or no, I guess two. I guess it's the second episode. They already went back to their timeline.
Yeah.
The future people did anyway. We still have yet to visit the past, but yeah, very surprising. All right, well, let's get into our discussion for.
My daddy always said two's company and three's an eavesdropper.
Well, let's kick it off with the recap. Like, the episode didn't even begin yet, and if you watch the quote-unquote previously on that they always do to kind of catch you up before the episode even begins, you're already wrapped up in the emotion of what we went through last season. It kicks off with Nightcrawler narrating the birth of Nathan Summers, and we get flashbacks of how it all went down, and man, you're like right back in the thick of it, and just feeling everything right away, and like, oh my god, like here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost my notes.
Oh.
I lost my notes for a second. Okay, no,
Okay.
we're good.
Well, I mean, that's just the feeling. Like I said, you just get this right from the recap. You just start feeling it, and you're just, oh my god, what are we?
Yeah,
getting
they
set
want
up
to put you in the emotional center of what the story's going to be already. So
Yeah.
already pulling all of that.
Only pulling on their hands. So then we go from that right to the opening sequence, and even in the opening sequence, you get some more quick cuts of what happened, and then they throw in a couple little pieces of the new season. But you're already, your emotions are already rivaled up, and then you're looking at the opening sequence, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, and and oh my god, and they're already getting you all. Your blood is just flowing.
Yeah, and I mean, last season they had little changes to all of the intros and things of that nature, so they're continuing with having changes in the intros. Not a ton. Obviously, this one just featured the members of the team in this episode that were in the past or in the future. But there's also a couple like extra scenes, like when they do all the character intros and the Wolverine one, it's actually him in his brown and tan suit instead of the blue and yellow one. And he's got his bone claws instead of the adamantium, which is fun. And then, I'm not going to go into all the changes and stuff, but there was a really dope animation shot of Magneto ripping out Wolverine's adamantium in there. That was really cool.
Oh man, and it was like a still shot, but it had motion to it. Yeah.
It was like a minimalistic color, like shadowed shot. It was really cool.
Oh man, yeah, it's just crazy what they have in there. And I mean, I think the opening for the X-Men is one of the best of all the animated shows. Like you get the iconic music, the iconic scenes, all the X-Men flying over the logo, and like everything. It's just so dramatic. Like it's a really well done intro. I never skip it.
No, gotta watch it.
Gotta watch it. Well, let's dive into the timelines of the story here. We get another reminder. You and me spoke about this when we covered the comics, but we get another reminder here that it's a few months after the season 1 finale. Whereas the comics said it was exactly 6 months have passed, here the news anchor lady says it's been months after. Months after the X-Men have disappeared, and you're like, okay, so we're still probably around that. It's probably 6 months. She's just not saying how many.
Yeah, 6 months or so. I'm assuming maybe give it a little more time just because the comic was 6 months and Forge and Bishop have been working on the time machine, so that probably, it could be comic book time, which means they figured it out the next day. Or it's probably a few more months down the line. But yeah, so at least we do have a little bit of where we're at in the timeline, at least here. Did you notice, so in this newscast, it's Trish Chilby, who was the news reporter throughout all of the first season, but did you notice it all? And I didn't notice it till the second episode when she's in that newscast as well, but she actually has scars all over her face now from the Prime Sentinel tech. So I knew that we were wondering like what was going to happen there, if they're going to address that at all. So I guess it looks like they were probably able to take the tech or those nanites out, but like it left anyone who had it with the scars from the patterns of the tech on the face. So this is a really small detail, but I was like, okay, they didn't forget about that.
I think I caught it on in the second episode, like
yeah,
you,
that's
but
when I saw it.
It didn't really sink in that was there. I'm gonna have to take another look at that. But that is interesting that there are. So that means, I mean, we saw how many people around the world got taken over. So millions of people are going to have these scars on their face.
Yeah, they're probably like, someone can now tell, like, oh, you turned into a Prime Sentinel.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
And I mean, they probably don't have time to tell a story like that, but I would wonder if that would cause a bit of, what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, when they're being alienated. You know,
like ostracizing.
Ostracizing them, yeah. Like, oh, I don't know if I can trust you. You had that tech. How do I know it's not going to come back? Like, you know, it's like somebody that has a disease, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. So we see Bishop and Forge. They've isolated the time periods that the team got split into, which I find interesting because I was trying to understand how did they figure that out? Because there's two big posters on the wall with each member and who is where, and they're like, and you can see it's like, oh yeah, this is the guys in the future, these guys in the past. So how would they have figured that out?
It's okay. It's in my next note.
Okay.
Because so it's just like one line that Bishop says. So if you like maybe didn't hear it or were trying to look at the boards too closely, you might not have heard it. But Bishop mentions that since the X-Men went missing in the present, there have been ripples, like deviations in the time stream that he's been able to track. And so he's been tracking them, and he figured out the like origin point for each of those, and it's those two time periods that the X-Men are in. So he was tracking small deviations that were happening in the time stream.
Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, I like that. Cool. And you got something else up there?
I do. I was just saying where each of them were going. So Forge going to the future to that team, and Bishop is headed to the past to get that one.
Yeah, which is where they split up. So we find out that the future is 3960 AD, and the past is 3000 BC. So it's kind of like it's almost 4,000 years in the future and 3,000 years in the past. Like, it's a long time. Quite
yeah,
different.
and I know this answered the question of where Storm, Morph, and Wolverine went, because I know it didn't show them at the end of season 1.
No.
So it's like, okay, they're just in the future. They just wanted to show Scott and Jean for that moment.
For that one moment. So now we know that the team is really split pretty much in half. Yeah. But Bishop also says, like, these two time periods, these specific years that they're in, are the two darkest in human history, which I found interesting. I wonder what's giving that, you know, that type of despair to those time periods. Why are they the darkest in human history?
I think they just want to play up that Apocalypse is bad.
Yeah.
And anytime has any sort of power, it becomes a really dark period.
But isn't it interesting though? Forge is in, or Bishop is in the current time, 1997, and he's talking about the future, and he's saying this future moment is the darkest in human history. Well, it's not your history yet, pal. You have to be ahead of that time for it to be able to looked upon as history.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know how you would word that.
No, not to a time traveler. You're just like,
yeah,
any time is past and future all at the same time.
All at the same time. So they built a full time machine now. It's not just the wristband that Bishop wears. They've got a full, what looks like a photo booth. You know, one of those photo booths you go into. That's what it looks like. They turned one of those into a time machine, which is going to be large enough to be able to handle transporting the entire team back. So they still wear the bracelets. The wristbands is how they control it, but they needed this larger, more powerful machine to be able to pull groups of people back and forth.
Yeah.
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 So it was pretty cool to see that. But I was thinking about that. Like, you got to be careful because Bishop and Forge, they take off. One goes to the past, one goes to the future, like you said. But they got to be careful that tech doesn't fall into the wrong hands. I mean, they left it in whatever room in the destroyed X mansion that they're in. What if someone comes looking for them? What if somebody just comes across it and sees this time machine sitting there and starts to mess with it? Like, did they have any security measures in place?
Well, they are, I believe, at Forge's house. I don't think they weren't at the mansion.
Oh, okay.
Because in the comic they said, I have a place off the grid. So this is either Forge's house, like cabin that we saw in season 1, or he's just got another site somewhere. But it does look like they're probably somewhere in the desert in Texas where Forge lives. So hopefully, I mean, it's a little more remote, but I mean, potentially someone could come upon this. I don't know if they're going to go that route for anything, or if they're just like, nope, time machine, don't worry about it.
I would hope Forge has some type of security in place. I mean, he is. I
assume
he
would.
Right? Yeah, you would assume so. So, like you said, they each went to different time periods. So Forge heads to the future because that's where Storm is, but he's immediately surrounded by future Sentinels with massive firepower, and all he's got is a pair of pistol blasters on his hips there. And it kind of got me thinking, in a big fight between massive teams or a lot of people, Forge really isn't that useful because all he has is a pair of guns. Like, on his own, he doesn't stand much of a chance because he's got no protection, he's got no powers that guard him, he's got nothing. He's just a tech guy. He can build stuff. But his guns do quite a bit of damage. It's just, I was just kind of thinking, like, he's really not that useful in a fight.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same training as the rest of the X-Men at this point. Tech is his big superpower.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean the Apocalypse Sentinels, whatever we want to call them. I don't know if they have an actual name.
Yeah.
But they gave me very like Terminator vibes, especially when it's like the one was like going over the brick wall where Forge was hiding.
Yes.
And I was like, that looks like the.
It looks like.
Yeah.
And these ones seem small. They're not as tall. Like, the original Sentinels are like, 80, 100 feet tall. These ones look like maybe 20 feet tall. They're definitely a lot smaller. So, and there's a lot of them. But as you said, he's hiding behind the brick wall, and he's pretty much outgunned. He's outmatched. And the two Sentinels turn around and see him. They got him point blank, dead to rights. Wolverine shows up in the nick of time to save him. And it was pretty cool because he's jumping from Sentinel to Sentinel, ripping out their wires, cutting off their heads and stuff. And Logan really has a lot of different looks to him this year. He's got the long hair flowing out of this, what I'm calling a Zorro-like mask. He kind of looks like Zorro, and he's got all his hair flowing out of it. So that was kind of cool. And then, like you said, he's got his bone claws at this point. And what I found very interesting, Shadowcat, is I think I saw him break off his bones in one of the Sentinels' heads, and then he immediately grew back on the next attack that he made. Is that what's happening there?
Yeah, he just has his bone claws, so, there's no metal protecting those, so they're gonna break easy if he's fighting as rough as he's used to, and that looks like what he's doing. But he's still got his healing factor, so they're just growing back.
Growing back pretty fast, but it looks like it hurts when they broke. It looked like it hurt him, too.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely moments where he's, like, screaming when because, I mean, they're bones.
They're part of
so
his arm,
you're gonna feel that. They're part of his arms, you're gonna feel that breaking, so that's...
Oh my god.
That's Wolverine. He just goes through all the pain.
He's tough, yeah.
Yeah. And okay, there's a moment where Storm and Forge see each other and they just immediately start kissing, and it threw me off for a moment, but just because of the time of like everything we've been talking about, I was like, for watching it feels like a couple days, but like it's been months and months that they were together in the original season when they were figuring out the power stuff, but also now it's been months and months since they've seen each other. But I think, to me, I was just like, oh, they're just going for it right now. They're just kissing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny, too.
They missed each other. Give them a chance.
Yeah, it just threw me off for a second. But I was like, oh, yeah, they still like each other. They're kind of dating.
Yeah, for sure. So just a fun little thing here. There's a brief glimpse when they're talking about traveling back to the headquarters to meet Cyclops and Jean and all, get everybody together again. There's a glimpse of the way people travel in this future timeline, because nobody has cars anymore. It's all different. And what you see is these different vehicles, like buses and trucks that have been sort of modified, and they all have massive sails attached to them, like a big sailboat, like a massive, ocean liner sailboat. And it looks like these vehicles are kind of hovering. And this is how they glide across the landscape using the wind with these big sails and these buses and trucks. I'm like, oh, that's kind of an interesting future look there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sci-fi world, but it kind of makes sense because they're in like a wasteland, just desert environment. So there's going to be a lot of wind for them to use.
Yep. It's cool. So then we see everybody, the whole team, like you're saying, the whole team's getting together again, but they're all in new outfits. And you told us last week where Storm kind of got hers from. Like, there was a specific, maybe you can remind us again, this is a specific comic timeline that she had her outfit from. And you see Cyclops and Jean also have brand new outfits. Like, is that from something specific, or is that new for this show?
No, so these ones are their original X Factor outfits.
Okay.
So the original X Factor team during the first run was, plus there's some like wasteland attire added onto it. So like the jackets and the bandanas and the armor pieces. But
Yeah.
so for like Cyclops, he has the blue and the white X outfit kind of bodysuit. And then Jean has the yellow and red X bodysuit outfit. So those are their original X Factor uniforms that they had.
Oh, they're just covered up with a lot of extra stuff. So it didn't look like them at all. Okay. Well, as they're, Forge is there to get them and use his time machine and return them home. But Cyclops and Jean don't want to leave yet. They're feeling guilty that they sent Nathan here into the future, and they want to stay to help him. And they're just feeling too guilty about leaving him behind. They're like, no, we can do some good. Nathan needs our help. We don't want to leave. But Forge says that they can't because it breaks the timeline if they stay.
Yep, the conundrum of like every time travel.
All the timey-wimey stuff. Yep.
Yep,
exactly.
all the timey-wimey.
I'll come back to that point, I think, in a little bit. So Jean is teaching Nathan how to use his mental abilities to control his machine arm and keep the virus at bay, which I thought was really, really cool. Like she's teaching him because he's brand new. He's had nobody to train him with his abilities before. But this makes me think of all the timey-wimey stuff. Like when Cable comes back from the future several times not only in this series but in the comic books, he's already well trained. But it's Jean who's training him. So as time travel stories go, like you just said, she was always going to be sent to the future to train him so that he can always come back when he's older. It's one of those time loop things. Like, until she goes the first time, he would never have been trained. So she has to have gone to have to have trained him so that when he comes back from that future as an adult, he's now fully trained with his mental abilities. So it's one of these weird time loops that it always was going to happen, no matter what. She was going to the future.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be one of those, like I guess this might fall under like a bootstrap paradox. But, which is like, if you go and like give something or leave something to a character that didn't have it before. So where does that item originate, basically? It's like, because it's stuck in the loop of like this person going back in time and giving it the thing, but they always had the thing, or like vice versa.
Yeah, see?
So it's kind of like that. Or, I mean, you could see it in the sense of like how Lost did it, and they're like, they were always, this was always their future, the past was always their future, they were always meant to go there, they were always there, they didn't change anything.
Right.
But in this, like, they've already said that there's been like deviations to the time stream and things, so I don't think it's that. So yeah, I guess it could be a loop, or like there was someone else who originally trained him, but then they got pulled through time, so like that little like branch got like wiped out. Or, like, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I love it though. Timey-wimey. It's all fun stuff.
Timey-wimey.
Jess is going to be jealous, like I said. So this I found surprising. Scott and Jean have not told him that they're his parents at this point. That really surprised me. So I'm thinking, like, you see, he's given them hugs. Like he knew, when he Morph comes in, hey, look, I found a baseball. Let's go play catch. And they're like, yeah. He's like, can I? Yeah, sure. Go play. Be careful. Go have some fun. It just surprised me. Who does he think they are in that moment? It seems like he's treating them like parents, but he doesn't know yet. So who does he think they are at that point?
Right. So I mean, it's not said if they ever said that they were even like X-Men, but like never gave either names or like who they were.
Yeah.
But I think even without knowing that those are his parents, like from what I've gathered from this, I think that those two, specifically Scott and Jean, they got close to Nathan over the last 6 months or so that they've been stranded in the future.
Yeah.
Because they probably would have wanted to stay close to him because they're like, that's our son. And, been the ones that were training him more and more. And also, like, since Jean's a telepath, she was helping Nathan as a telepath and has that better connection with those two specifically, is what it feels like. They would have just been the ones that kind of were like, well, we'll just like kind of take over Nathan's training and be his like
his mentors, basically.
His mentors, yeah, exactly. So even if without knowing his parents, Nathan probably just got close with those two specifically over the time that they've been there.
So and maybe
So I can
they
see
just
it, yeah.
feel like family to him, like because he
Yeah,
doesn't have
yeah.
family, right?
Mm-hmm. Since he doesn't have, he's an orphan at
Yeah.
this point.
Exactly. But Cyclops says, like, they're discussing it, and Cyclops says telling him would disrupt the timeline. And I'm wondering, well, how? If he only finds out who his parents are and they're from the past, how does that disrupt the timeline? Like, they're not... He's just giving them knowledge of who they are. I don't see how that really affects it.
I think to them at this point, either it's unclear if Cable knew that they were his parents when Cable originally met the X-Men in this timeline. Because, like, they didn't know that was Cable, that Nathan was Cable until last season, obviously, because Nathan hadn't been born yet until then.
Yeah.
But it's, the timey-wimey is all over the place. But it's unclear if Cable necessarily knew, or, like, when Cable found out, like, who his parents were and what his original timeline was. So at some point, obviously, he learns that Maddie is his real mom, because he said, "Sorry, Mom," to her on Genosha right before the explosion. So he learned that at some point. So I don't know. It's another one of those, did they cause an actual thing to change, or is this when he always would have figured it out? Because at this point, to the X-Men's knowledge, Scott and Jean's knowledge, Cable does not know his parents. Cable does not know where he came from. And if this is something that is a change, even if they don't know if it's a change or not, then that could affect everything. Because then Cable's like, well, now I'm going to only try to get back to this timeline. I'm going to learn all this stuff about the X-Men. Because it does seem like he didn't have this knowledge, because at the end of last season, when he's talking about the stories of the X-Men from the past that people used to tell him, he didn't seem to make any connection that Scott and Jean were related to him, or Maddie was his mom, or like any of that. So hard to tell. But it's all of that, like, walking on eggshells, trying to be like, is this a change, or is this something that was always happened in the timeline? Yeah.
Love it, though. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about and get lost in my brain.
Yeah. Trying to keep up with you there.
Trying to keep up with it, yeah.
So, talking about Mother Ascani now, like, she is very confusing. Like, she speaks in riddles. I mean, Scott doesn't know what she's saying. She doesn't know what she's saying. I don't know what she's saying and what she's talking about. She doesn't really give any answers at all.
Yeah, no. And, like, pretty much all riddles, and also probably, like, preserving the timeline by not giving answers and only giving riddles.
Yeah.
But, and also, I mean, showing off and meditating, like, upside down while on fire. I was like, yes, this is good. Yeah. But so, like, when Scott goes to talk to her about the prophecy and where Nathan came from, and trying to sort of weasel in the, like, hey, can Nathan come with us, or can we stay with Nathan, and all of that. Yeah. So this is just what I pulled out, because I know it's going to probably come up throughout the whole season, at least in bits and pieces. But this is what the prophecy for Nathan is what she said. So, a child born on the day of spring, who would end that which shall survive and shatter the rocks of the eternal shore, the cradle of Apocalypse's power, giving rise to his end, which is a very confusing statement.
Yeah, but...
And not something I know from the comics at all, in terms of the Dayspring, yes, but, like, all of the rest of it is not super familiar, of, like, prophecy stuff. And honestly, I feel like it came out of a line that Apocalypse shouted in the original animated series that they just came up with to make him sound cool, and that was that he was a rock shattering things on the eternal shore, something along that line.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I'm just gonna put it out there in case it keeps coming up in any kind of words or imagery throughout the season, since we're dealing with Apocalypse and Cable here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna, I think it's gonna remain a riddle.
Well, here's something that I thought was really cool. Mother Ascani is voiced by Gates McFadden, who a lot of you will know was Dr. Crusher on Star Trek Next Generation. And I love Gates. I met her in person. She's a fantastic lady. It's just so cool. I had no idea that she was in this. And it turns out there's supposed to be a few Star Trek people on here.
There will, when we get to episode 3.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I saw a news clip about or something. X-Men is hiring all the Next Generation crew. I was like, what? So that'll be fun. That's cool. So in this part, I found kind of funny. I even threw an image in here. Like, when she eventually takes off her hood while she's talking to Storm, to me, I think they kind of failed in the animation here. Like, when she takes her hood off, it's a man. There's no mistaking that this is not a man. Like, she completely looks like a man with a long piece of braided hair. And I'm wondering why they went with that look for her, because it's just weird to me that they made her look so much like a guy.
I mean, that's kind of the look in the comic, too, is what she looks like. But, I mean, she's an old woman. She's, like, super wrinkly. That's pretty normal.
Yeah, but not so masculine looking. Like, old women don't look like that. I don't know.
I mean, her facial structure does, I will say, resemble Cable's facial structure. Mm-hmm. And I do think they might have done that on purpose, since theoretically they're siblings. But in a different timeline.
Okay.
Since
it's just weird.
Spoilers. I mean, I've spoiled it many times, but that's a Summers right there. So.
Yeah. I wonder if that'll come around in the show or not.
Know.
Like,
I'm not sure.
I'm kind of curious about that. But I mean, when she just first pulled the hood off, you're like, what? It's not what you were expecting.
I don't know. I mean,
but
didn't bother me.
This is exciting. Like, Storm finds out it was her that brought them through time, because we didn't know.
Yep.
Until this moment. And she's able to see through time. She's able to untangle the threads of destiny. This is what she's explaining to Storm. She said she saw that the X-Men were destined to die in that battle on Asteroid M, and that is why she saved them and pulled them through time to bring them to two different points in the history in the future where she thought they could stop Apocalypse. And I was just like, whoa. That was a huge info dump right there, and she just spews it off in a discussion. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, I was honestly a little surprised to find it out in the first episode because they were talking about, like, something or someone pulled the X-Men through time, and I guess I wasn't expecting it to just be answered in the first episode.
Yeah.
But I guess, they're speeding through things already, so it works in this. I honestly didn't even think about it because she does have some, like, time travel timey-wimey stuff going on with her powers sometimes.
This version of her and her powers.
This version of her, yes, this version. But did you notice when she's going through all of that we get a close-up on the eyes and you can see the Phoenix in her eyes?
A few times in this episode, yeah. So what does that mean?
So, I mean, Rachel... Spoilers, sorry, everyone. I've already spoiled this, but just in case. Rachel is Phoenix at times, too. She can wield the Phoenix Force as well.
Right.
So that's probably just a nod to her as Mother Skani, and as when she's Rachel, Phoenix is her code name at points as well. I know it's been Jean's code name, but they share it. They're mother-daughter. So, yes, I think it's just referencing, like, if you didn't know, or if you did know, like, Mother Skani has a lot more power and a lot more secrets to her than she's letting on.
Besides floating upside down on fire while she's meditating. Yeah.
Which is fun. But yeah, so she can kind of just access the Phoenix Force.
Yeah, interesting.
When she wants at times.
And that, does the Phoenix always have time travel abilities? Like, I didn't know that.
If I tried to get into the Phoenix Force, we'd also be here for even longer.
Special episode coming up.
Special episode, the Phoenix Force. But the Phoenix Force is a eternal cosmic being, basically. Energy, deity, whatever you want to call it. I just usually refer to it more of like an energy source. And depending on the comics and continuity you're reading, it is like the thing, because they're always yelling like, I am Phoenix, I am life incarnate, that it's the thing that like sparks life.
Okay.
So technically it's like always been around. Like it's just one of those things
like
that's been in space forever, kind of like the beginning of time kind of a thing, depending on how you're reading it, what comic you're reading, different things. So yeah, the Phoenix is kind of always present, and it has an attachment to the Summers Gray Jean like line, which I find fun in the comics, that it's just like this family, this Jean line for some reason. But I like it.
Well, I mean,
that didn't answer much about it, but the Phoenix is very hard to explain.
I mean, they're mutants. They have abilities, so the Phoenix obviously senses something in them that works for her to be able to attach to them and so, give them the power of the Force. So yeah, it's cool. Like if you've never read any of the comics, if you go up that, I think I have a big massive trade paperback, which is like a thick book that collects like 12 issues or whatever. The whole Phoenix saga, when it first happened, it's a fantastic story and a great read. And it's really powerful, really dramatic. A lot of stuff happens when Jean first becomes the Phoenix. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good story. Good story. Well, speaking of, I want to talk a little bit about some of the effects on the show, because I like the little touches that they have in this episode, in this series. But in this episode, one example is when Jean is talking with telepathy, when she's communicating with Scott or she's communicating with whoever. There's that little glowing blue marker on their foreheads, and it sort of signifies who's talking to who. And I think that's just a really cool thing that we can see. She's directly talking to Scott. The two of them have a connection, and that I just think it's a neat little effect.
Yeah. It's animation. They can do it like a more fun ways to represent psychic powers, because you wouldn't be able to see psychic powers in real life.
No, so it's really cool. But then I also laughed when they're all walking, when there's that moment when they're walking with Nathan, when they're trying to take him somewhere, and he's like, I can hear what you guys are thinking.
Like, I'm a telepath
funny.
Too.
Yeah. And it's like, who's Cable?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. So it was interesting how he could tune in to their private conversations. So that was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But then another effect, when Jean creates that bubble shield around them with her psychic energy, like we see her do so many times, this is what I found interesting. It stops things from getting through. It's a shield barrier for everything. But yet, while inside it, Scott is still able to shoot out his optic blasts. And I was very curious how that works. How can it stop things from getting through, but it can let things out? That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is that just Jean was controlling it on a level where she could allow his blast to get through, but nothing else in. Mm-hmm. Like maybe just leave like a very small section, or was helping control it. Like maybe the psychic or her telekinesis bubble like extended with Scott's blast. Or maybe she was.
It's hard to explain.
It's a telekinesis bubble, so she can control it on like a.
Yeah.
It's telekinesis. I don't even know if it's made up of. It has energy, but I guess so. There's an atomic structure to it, since it's energy. But maybe she's literally controlling on an atomic level. So just the energy from his blast is the only thing to get through. Yeah,
that's how I was picturing it. Is because it's a mental energy. She's able to. She knows exactly what his optic blasts are made of, and she can say, okay, these specific elements are able to phase through my barrier. Mm-hmm. But nothing else can. I don't know, but I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, comic-y science for sure.
Yeah, comic science.
But here's something that you can explain, because I bet you I'm not the only one that's curious about this. There's probably a lot of people watching the X-Men, and they're watching Cyclops, and they're wondering, why does he always touch a finger to his visor when he's firing his optic blast? Does that open it up or something? Like, what is he doing there? Because it's similar to what you see in spy movies when people touch their earpieces when they want to communicate. Yeah.
So canonically, he does have like a type of dial on the side of his visor that he uses to open and close kind of the lens, the ruby quartz in his lens. So that's because it's always shooting out of his eyes. So he has it usually set so it won't get through, so he doesn't hurt anybody else. But he has a dial that can kind of change the refraction of the ruby quartz so that he can let it out. And also it can control kind of the intensity, like the power level of the blast. So if he needs like a really like focused, like small beam, he can do that, or it can be like a lot larger and more intense of a beam. So technically there is a dial there, but like just putting your finger there is a lot easier to animate and draw than a full dial.
Or you can just rip it off and go full power like we've seen.
That too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's cool. It's neat to see. I enjoy Cyclops, and I think the voice actor that's playing him really has given him a lot of maturity in how he talks and the way he carries himself. Like he's got one of those voices that he just sounds like a leader. He sounds like a father figure, and I don't know. It's just really, really well done for Cyclops.
Mm-hmm. Ray Chase.
Ray Chase, yeah.
Props to Ray Chase.
Props out there. I'd love to get him recording something for a show. That'd be cool. He could say, "To me, my legends."
Yes.
How cool would that be?
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah, we'll have to work on it because I know you have more opportunity to meet them down there than I usually do. So definitely we got to get all of them. I know I want Rogue on the show. I got to get Lenore on here. Well, let's jump back a little bit in time. Let's go back to earlier when Apocalypse makes his first appearance. We see an old man go into the pyramid and call upon Apocalypse. We don't really see him, though. We see this sarcophagus-looking thing rise out of the altar, and it's got his face on it, and he's speaking through it. But what he says is what's interesting. He says, "Who disturbs my regeneration?" And I was like, what's his state at this point in time? Like, he's not immortal, so he needs to keep regenerating or repairing himself to stay alive. Like, what's going on with Apocalypse here that he's inside this tomb and he's having to regenerate?
Yeah, that's how Apocalypse stays alive for so long. He has to regenerate. So either a body or he transfers his consciousness into a new host body, and then he augments himself with the celestial tech.
But he always ends up looking the same, the great big blue Thanos creature that we know. Yeah. So it's always a new body. I didn't know this about him at all.
It's also complicated and depends on the writer. But
again, I've hired you for a reason.
Yeah. The immortal bit can be a bit confusing because technically in the comics he should be like immortal. His original body should be immortal since he's considered what is called an external, which is a very small and rare subset of mutants that do have immortality. But I think...
So he's not an eternal, he's an external?
Yeah, it's an external, not an eternal, yeah.
Okay.
They gotta put X everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
But I think the fact that he has augmented himself with so much of the celestial tech, instead of just being like fully natural, organic at this point, that he needs to regenerate himself because he depends on the tech so much. That's the best explanation I have.
It's better than what I had to begin with. Yeah. So okay, because I had no idea that he had to regenerate. I did not know this. It makes me think he's Anakin Skywalker as Vader.
Yeah. Pretty much. You see that. Uh-huh. Yeah. And then so the man that we see talking to Apocalypse, so his name is Ozymandias. So he is
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias, yeah.
Okay.
He's from ancient Egypt. That's where he originated. Will they do this in the show? Maybe. I don't know. But he actually served under Ramatut in ancient Egypt and was asked by him to try to prevent Ensabanur from gaining power, but he failed in that mission. So because he failed, Apocalypse turned him into living stone and made him his servant.
That's why he looks the way he does. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so he leads Clan Aqaba that we talked about in the comics.
Yeah, we talked about Aqaba. Okay. Okay, I thought he was something. I realized he was somebody important, but yeah, I was wondering why does he look like he's made of concrete? So there you go.
Because he is, pretty much.
Because he is. Okay.
Stone.
So between him and Apocalypse, they're having a discussion, and they decide that Nathan is the body that he needs to never to have to endure the pain of regeneration again. So what's going on there? You kind of explained it to us. He's transferring his consciousness, his mind into Nathan's body. They don't really explain why they need Nathan. What's different about Nathan? But maybe you can continue your explanation here.
You know, I forgot to look this one up because I didn't remember it from off the top of my head. But you know, obviously, Cable and Apocalypse, or Nathan and Apocalypse he's not Cable quite yet. Nathan and Apocalypse's story is very closely intertwined because of the prophecy and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So it might be the fact that they got wind of the prophecy and was like, hey, if you take over his body, then he can't defeat you.
Right, but they're also mentioning that he'll never have to regenerate again, so there's something special about Nathan that will make him truly immortal.
They love the Summers genes. I mean, we talked about the Phoenix, but also Mr. Sinister is like obsessed with Scott and Jean and their genetics, like Nathan being
something special about those two.
Yeah. So it might be something related to that.
Okay.
I'm sure the comics answered it, but I cannot remember the specific details at this moment.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're like the focal point. They're like, in a way, you could say they're the most powerful of all the mutants because of what they can do together, right?
Yeah, they've been a focal in a lot of stories.
Yeah. Well, from there, we get introduced to the 4 horsemen of apocalypse, at least the 4 that are here in this time period. And they are characters that I have never seen before, so I'm going to get you to break them all down for us if you can. We got a large Minotaur-looking like dude. We get a magic carpet ride Alakazam-looking guy. We get a marching drummer soldier type guy, and we get a Japanese geisha-looking lady with an umbrella. Like, what a strange group of Apocalypse's horsemen. So, go for it. What can you tell us about these 4?
Yeah, so these 4 are known. This is long. Here we go. Yeah, buckle in.
Hey, that's what you're here for.
Yes.
Teaching.
These 4 are known as the Apocalypse's final horsemen.
The final horsemen.
The final horsemen. So these 4 come from the 2010 Uncanny X-Force series in the comics.
Okay.
That's where they originated. So these 4 horsemen are ones that were turned into horsemen across time that Apocalypse was kind of watching throughout time. And if it looks like they're from different areas and parts of the world, that's why, because they're pulled from different parts of the timeline. But Apocalypse turned them into horsemen, but had them kind of remain dormant as basically fail-safes. So to be activated if like Apocalypse or his line were in danger, and if it seemed like all else was about to fail, they were the final 4 horsemen to get called.
Okay. Cool.
So, yeah, we were like starting with the comics. We were talking, or the in-between comic, we were talking about Clan Aqaba. They're usually the ones that are responsible for the activation of these horsemen. And in Uncanny X-Force, they were activated by Clan Aqaba at this point because Apocalypse was dead, or he hadn't been resurrected, regenerated yet. I don't remember quite the specific circumstances, but in the comic, there's a young boy that has been basically cloned from Apocalypse's DNA and they want to train to be the new Apocalypse. So they activate the Final Horseman to protect him and try to help him grow up to be the Apocalypse that everyone knows.
Okay.
So, and the 4 of them, so War his name is Decimus Furious. He's the one that looks like the big Minotaur.
Oh, this is the War of this future. Okay.
Yes, that's War of the future.
Okay. Decimus Furious.
Yes. He's from ancient Rome. And when his powers got activated, he turned into a big beast man that looks like a Minotaur.
Looks like a Minotaur. Okay, yeah.
So he's got super strength, and he can also use the axe that he's wielding, so he can use that to infect people with an insatiable desire for fighting in war. That's part of his horseman added powers.
Yeah, because they all have you've got war, famine, pestilence, and death. So he is the war. It doesn't matter which one takes on the identity of war. They all get the same ability. They make people want to fight.
Yeah, in an extent. They'll depending on what your original power was to begin with, you'll kind of have it in different ways. But they'll all be related to which of the horsemen they are. So
what do you mean he uses his axe? Like he can't cut people down with his axe and then they want to fight.
He can, but if you don't die from it, but you just maybe you get cut, then you're just you're poisoned. Don't want to keep fighting. You're just basically your poison is
okay.
You have just the desire for fighting and war all the time.
Right. Okay. Cool. So War the Minotaur.
Mm-hmm. So Famine is the soldier, the drummer guy. His name is Jeb Lee. He is from the Confederate Army. So back Civil War, American Civil War time.
Wow.
So his original power, is that he can transmit a bioauditory cancer through sound waves. So
a cancer.
A cancer, yeah. So if you can hear it, it has to be from a tapping sound, which is why he uses his drum. If you hear it, then that cancer can feed on your flesh as long as you can hear it.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's nasty.
So he just kills people. I guess
pretty much.
He pretty much could win the war for you. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's him. That's pretty much most of what I know.
That's creative. I like that. That's new. Yeah.
So Pestilence is the one that looks like a geisha. So her name is Ichisumi, if I pronounced that correctly, hopefully.
Okay.
So she's from 1800s Japan. her power is also creepy.
I mean, she puked green stuff at them, so I don't know what was going on there.
It's a swarm of beetles. So she houses in her jaw a swarm of beetles that she can direct them to eat through basically anything, and she has a mental connection with these beetles.
Well, how many? Because there seemed like a lot came out of her.
A big swarm. I don't know what the number is.
Wow. What a weird ability to be born with.
Yeah.
I just carry beetles in my mouth that infect you.
So, yeah, I get they didn't start living in her. I don't know if that was part of the upgrade to a horseman, but she just had a swarm of them, like originally, like
maybe she
caretaker
like,
of them.
Yeah. She was like beetle controller queen or something. Beetle queen. Okay.
Not Beetlejuice. But.
Yeah, beetle queen.
And then so the last one, so the death in this group is Sanjar Javid. He's the one on the carpet. He is from ancient Persia,
So he's Aladdin gone mad, basically.
A little bit. You can say that. So he can induce any number of diseases in people. So he can also do it in the opposite direction. So he can increase a resistance to disease or bacteria in a person as well. Oh. But he usually doesn't do it that way. So as death, like he can basically throw diseases and infections at you.
It's something you can't fight. You can't fight the illness.
Yes, most of them are like terminal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of creepy powers in this set, but you can be like, yeah, Apocalypse was like these ones.
Yeah. Wow. It's fascinating. It's interesting. But every one of them, it's just a different way of infecting somebody so that you're going to die. That's all their power makes sense.
Pretty much.
Wow. Crazy. I mean, that's what the horsemen are, right? They're there to annihilate the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is the horsemen. Well, let's get to the final moments of the episode now. And we're going to kick it off because there's a point in the episode where everything just sort of ramped up, and there's like 3 sequences specifically where all hell's breaking loose. So the first one is, it seems Jean and Scott decide that they want to run away with Nathan to raise him on their own, because that's what they're talking about. Like, can we do this? Can we raise him by ourselves? And so, because at that point in time, Forge wants to take him back in time, and they want to stay with Nathan, but Mother Scotty says they can't stay. So they weren't going to stay, but they also weren't going to try and travel back to 97. They just decided we're going to run away with Nathan and raise him on our own. Is that really what was happening there?
Yep, that is what they were happening. Because because the options at this point were they either had to leave Nathan behind to not disrupt the timeline, never tell him that they're his parents.
Yeah.
Or it was, well, I mean, guess that was technically the only option they had if they didn't want to disrupt the timeline. But this was their screw the timeline moment, because they didn't want to leave their son again, especially now that they've seen what the future they sent him to was. They're like, we can't just leave him and also never have him know that we're our parents. We're his parents.
Yeah. Okay. Could they have brought him back in time? Because now that he can control his abilities and Jean can help him, could they bring him back in time to stop the virus? Because the reason they sent him away is that they can't stop the virus.
Mm-hmm. So I think in their brains they wanted to do that too, but also that would disrupt the timeline too much, because then he wouldn't have grown up to be the Cable that we know is in the timeline now.
Again, the time loop, timing line.
Yeah, the time loop stuff.
He's originally from 97. That's when he was born. They sent him to the future. So bringing him back, it really shouldn't disrupt the timeline, because he's just coming back to his normal time. Sending him to the future is the original disruption.
Yes and no. We'll never know.
It is! All our time travel knowledge. It is. They sent him to the future. He grew up in the future. He changed everything in the future because he's there when he's not supposed to be there.
Unless him going to the future was a fixed point too, and he always needed to go to the future.
Harley, where are you? We need you. Okay. What's your quick note here? You got something here about...
there was the quick scene of Storm and Forge talking about their relationship and how it'll work, because it seems like they want a future too. And then it's just the really quick, they get interrupted by Morph saying that Nathan ran off with Scott and Jean and he didn't know to throw the baseball back, and I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, he's like, that's how you play catch. I guess you didn't know. Yep. No, you're right. So Jean and Scott and Nathan are shackled up on the train after they got caught. They're being taken to Apocalypse because the Horsemen basically ambushed them and caught them, and they're on the train and they're shackled up. They're basically being held in like an X shape, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Their arms and legs are spread apart, and they decide to tell him who he is and who they are.
Yeah, they recite the same psychic message that Maddie and Scott left for Nathan when they first sent him through the timeline. And that is what awakens Nathan's kind of memory of it. And he's like, I know that. I know who you are.
I remember that, yeah. And then in their explanation to him, like the combination of Cyclops' optic blasts and Jean's mental abilities should give him the strength to break out. And they're trying to encourage him, like, Nathan, you can do this. You can get us out of this. Look at us. We're your parents. This is where you come from. You have our combined abilities. Use that, focus it, and they're basically trying to get him to harness his power, and he does. He uses that to focus it, and he frees all of them. And I just thought it was such a cool moment, such a cool scene. That's going to be coming up in our favorite scenes, but I love that whole, because there's this really uplifting music that's behind Scott as he's saying all of this, and then as young Nathan is focusing his energy, and he's and he's letting it all. It was a really powerful scene. It was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, when like she's encouraging him, like it's the extension of the scene when she was showing him originally what he can do with his arm and the telekinesis, and encouraging him to send the virus into the dampener to short it out. I was like, cool. Yeah, that's cool.
It's very cool. Very cool. And then following that is another awesome moment when Forge and everyone are on that old ship that they found, and it's being powered by Mother Ascani. She's using her, I guess, Phoenix-like ability. She surrounds it with like an energy fire, and she's able to lift it up, and it's flying.
Yeah, she's got telekinesis. She's got Jean, the same telepathy and telekinesis as Jean is and stuff too.
So
Phoenix
power. So it's flying
Phoenix
because
powers.
of her. We see Storm take control of the solar winds to boost its engines, because that's what they needed. Mother Ascani said, they're like, we need, like Forge is saying, I need like the power of a nuclear bomb to be able to move the ship fast enough to catch up to the train, because we find out that the train is going like Mach 3 or something like that, they said. So Mother Ascani says, I know where we can get the power, and it turns out it's Storm. She instructs Storm, you must take control of the solar winds and the solar energy and boost the engines with it. And so Storm rises up there, and Storm has this other really cool moment, the music and the winds and the storms, and she goes into her godlike voice and give me the power of the energy, and she does this whole thing. And
she's got a whole speech for it.
Yeah, she's got a whole speech for it, and she controls the solar energy, which we've never seen her do before. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's her give him the forecast moment for this season, episode 1. Season 1, episode 1. She took out all the Sentinels. So yeah, Storm's pretty cool. There's no doubt about the fact that Storm is cool.
It was neat. We've never seen her control sun power before, so that was cool. And then we get to our third moment. We get a cool fight, a final fight on the train, as the X-Men are all together now, and they pretty much lay waste to the Horsemen. Like, you see Storm freeze a couple of them, and more funny moment, he turns into Thor and smashes one with the hammer, which I thought was kind of fun. And, she freezes them, and they're all fighting. It's just a really cool, epic battle on the train. And instead of stopping the train, because they're like, okay, we got them, we rescued them, let's get out of here. Mother Ascani's like, no, the mission's not done yet. She ignites her power and engulfs the train in this psychic flaming energy and rams the whole thing through the defensive shield at Apocalypse's base, because there's an early moment in the episode where they show the base, and it's surrounded by this energy, and she's like, it's impenetrable, nobody can get through it. Well, now that she's got the X-Men there, she's got Jean's power, and they got everybody all combined, she just brings all of that together and blasts the train through the base, and that was also an awesome moment.
Yeah, because she's like, they're like, well, we got Nathan, that was the mission, and she's like, nope, you're heading toward what they think is the cradle of Apocalypse's power, because that's where his ship, where he got all the tech from, is. So she's like, keep going. Yeah. And the X-Men theme is playing underneath all of it, which is even cooler.
Yes, because this is an epic moment. Like, they just kept building up moment after moment after moment. This was the finale moment.
Yes.
It's so cool. It was awesome.
And everyone's fine. Everyone survived the train crashing through this.
Well, I think Jean protects them, doesn't she?
Yeah, she had the big telekinesis bubble over them.
Protecting everybody. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Just funny. They're like, I'm going to ram this train. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
Hold on, I guess.
Somebody actually yelled, hold on, in there. I don't know who it was. Was it Scott? Somebody yelled, hold on.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
But anyway, so that's the big epic moment. Everything happens. And the episode quiets down. And we see Nathan. He's unsure of what he's supposed to do. But Scott and Jean are talking to him. They're trying to parent him and stuff. And they're giving him advice. And Mother Scotty's talking. And it turns out like they're trying to tell him that he's meant to lead the people of this time to a better way of life, to keep them safe, to teach them how to protect themselves, all this stuff. He's supposed to be their leader. Again, not messing with the timeline here, but he's a guy from 3,000 years ago. He's supposed to lead the people of the future. Anyway, it moves into the scene that we talked about last week when I asked you about it. You said, oh, I can't talk about it until we talk about the episode.
Yeah.
And it's that scene where we're in the pyramid and he's at the altar. He goes up their ramp and there's this glowing ring. And someone's voice is talking to him, and it's telling him that she will walk this journey with him. Just reach through, take a hold of this, and I'll walk with you. And he reaches through, grabs onto this glowing ring, and we see his mechanical arm get upgraded. It now becomes more steel, it looks more like Colossus's arms, or it looks more like the Winter Soldier's arm, if that's a more familiar look to you. That's exactly what it looks like, and his arm is more complete. So this whole sequence is like, it's very... what's the word? Not majestic, very magical, very ethereal. There's a lot of stuff happening here. It's very, very cool. But I got one question out of this. Who is it that's speaking to him out of this glowing ring? What's talking to him?
Yeah, earlier in the episode, so that when they were coming up with the plan to get to the Summers on the train, you talked about it. They showed the big glowing, like, holographic map of Apocalypse Citadel, and so, like, what's there. And namely, they talked about something, the ship where Apocalypse gets all of his tech and power and stuff that's underneath the Citadel. And so this is a celestial time spaceship, one of those two things that Ramatut used and then Apocalypse got and used to move through time and get all of his future tech. The voice and tech, like this spaceship, its name is just Ship. Ship.
Just Ship. That's it.
Just Ship. So this is the future tech that is now connecting with Cable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just
that doesn't give all the answers, and I can't give you all the answers because
it's just the machine that's so it's the future tech. So it's almost like
tech.
It's like sentient AI. Is that what it is?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Is that it's kind of a sentient AI.
Okay.
That, and we'll see it at the very end of the next episode, and you've seen it before, but he has a little time cube that goes in and out of his arm.
Yes, I've seen that.
That's what he uses to time travel. So it's part of that future tech that came from Ship.
Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I just liked that. I thought that was really... I wanted to know more about it because I'd never seen that before. Where'd that voice come from? Who is that? Is that Mother Scotty? Is something talking to him? I have no idea who it was. And it was really cool. So, interesting. So the tech basically just came alive.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an origin to it? Will we find out about the origin to it?
I think we might see a little bit more in episode 4, is my guess.
Okay.
Just because we'll probably see it in the past too.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting. So it's always with him. They're like hand in hand. They're locked together because it comes out of his arm. So he relies on it for everything.
Yeah, he gets like the information. Like it's how he time travels. It's like a Gideon. It's like a Gideon in his arm.
Okay.
He gets all the time information and things changing and whatnot. There you go.
Gideon in the arm. We're just gonna, instead of calling her, what'd you say her name was?
Ship.
The Ship. We're calling her Gideon. I like that. She sounds like Gideon. She glows blue like Gideon. Let's call her Gideon. She's pretty cool. Well, we get a time jump to when he's all grown up, because you see him reaching through, and he sits there and he's thinking, he's remembering where he's reaching through, And then there's a bit of a time jump to when he's suddenly grown up. And now he's talking to Psylocke and Archangel. Woo! And they're talking about recruiting more members as they're the only team that can stop Apocalypse, according to him. It's his destiny to stop Apocalypse. But what time period are they in? Because in this moment, like, we know Cable's from the future, and he's like, we got to go recruiting, because they're like, what are we going to do? He's like, it's recruitment time, and you see them fly into a city. I'm like, where are they? Because he's from the future.
Yeah, it is, but this is like the present of the show. They're just in the 90s right now.
Okay,
because
so he went back in time
recruit.
because Psylocke and Archangel are not from the future; they're from this timeline.
Yes, they're from the present timeline. So they're going to get Jubilee and Sunspot. So they are in the 90s.
Right. Okay. That's all.
As Apocalypse likes to say.
Yeah.
Go to the 1990s.
Gotta go to the 90s. And that's where the episode ends. Mm-hmm. That's it. I mean, that was a lot. There's a lot going on in this opening episode to really just go, oh my God, we're in for a journey this season.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that was one episode.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, but no Lockheed's Lair for this one because most of the stuff was in the actual storyline itself.
Okay.
But I have a very large Lockheed's Lair for the next episode.
All right. So we'll save it for that. So we're gonna pause for an ad break right here, and then we'll come back and we'll do our favorite scenes.
What's wrong, Cher?
You know what happens when I touch somebody. You want to end up in the hospital?
Maybe it's worth it, no?
Ugh.
I'll never tire of that clip. I don't know why. I love it. All right, you are. I think yours is first this time, is it not?
Yours is first.
Mine is first. Okay, we'll go in chronological order here. This one I am calling "You Are Our Son," and this is when Gene and Scott tell Nathan who he is while they are shackled up on the train. It's that real powerful moment. I love the speech that they both give him. I love the music that slowly starts to ramp up, and he gets his power and he breaks him free. It's exciting. It's awe-inspiring. I loved it so much. So here's that scene.
Focus. Like I showed you. Guide the virus up your arm into the inhibitor collar.
Oh, it hurts!
I know, sweetie. I know. But don't fight the pain. Embrace it. Feel your arm. The virus. Your power's growing as you push harder.
I'm too weak.
You are powerful, Nathan. Trust us. You have to believe in yourself.
Believe in myself? Why?
Because you're...
Special? A miracle? That's what you were gonna say, wasn't it? Why didn't they keep me? Tell me, why did my parents let me go? Miracles are miracles because they're not supposed to be. Though, same thing's true about a mistake.
There'll be days when you're lonely or scared. When you ask yourself, why we did this? Was something wrong?
But you are perfect, my son. Know that in our time here, we thought about you endlessly. How your voice would sound.
Your laughter. Your eyes.
We love you so much, Nathan.
We owe you nothing but the best possible future.
And that is one without us in it.
I remember. How?
What I'll tell you now is that your mother's psychic power is unrivaled, and my optic blast's unstoppable, and you are our son. Dig deep and be our son, Nathan Summers. Solid work. Next, get to the control panel before the...
All right, now, mutants, stand down.
it just hell starts breaking loose, but oh my God, that's like sends shivers up the spine. What a moment.
Yeah, it would have been my favorite scene if I had written it first, but you got in there first. But how can it not? It's a really great scene.
Oh man, It's so good. It's just inspiring. It's so cool. And again, the voice acting on this show is bar none, like some of the best we've ever had. It's so good.
Yeah, so Nathan is voiced by Michael Johnston, who, if there's any horror fans out there, he is one of the leads in the recent movie Obsession, which he co-stars with Indy Navarrete, who played Sarah in Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
Little connection there.
All the connections.
So that movie just came out. It's probably still in theaters right now, as we're recording.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's a fun connection there. If anyone watched that movie too, that's who's playing Nathan.
It's fun. It's just so well done. I'm really, really appreciating the voice acting. I think they've if you have to say or like rank it, they definitely got A-listers for everybody here. It's so well done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's your scene?
So mine is towards the end of the episode when they're in Apocalypse's Citadel and they're walking up towards ship when it starts coming, the ring starts coming out and all of that.
Yeah.
And so Nathan still isn't quite sure if he's ready for, what comes next and, to become who he's meant to be. And so Storm gives him that bit of a pep talk about him choosing who he gets to be and then him getting, welcomed in with the technology.
Okay, so. I got that whole scene. Let's listen to it.
Are you hurt? You okay?
Stop fussing, Dad.
Oh.
I'm fine. I promise. But what about them?
Good men don't seek leadership, son. They're summoned to it.
Nathan?
What if I'm not ready?
I know that it may feel uneasy, child. Your future uncertain, the weight of your destiny heavy. But it is your choice, and only yours, to become who you wish to be.
Finally, you have come. Nathan Dayspring Summers. You no doubt have many questions, and it is my privilege to help you find answers.
How?
By walking with you.
There's lots happening in that scene too.
Yeah. I'm glad you started it with it's still going.
Oh. Did I extend it a little? Oh yeah, I did.
You might have.
I did. Okay.
I think you got it with the arm switching to the other arm, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
No, I'm glad you added in the Nathan calling Scott Dad part to that too.
Yeah.
I called that one Destiny is Your Choice because it was a good nice other moment for Nathan being like, I'm becoming Cable.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's making me really, because Cable was very new when I was kind of getting out of the comic book scene just as Cable was really being introduced in all the stories, so I never really got to know a lot about him, and it's more through this series I'm starting to understand Cable and the story a lot more, so I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the same for a lot of people who probably didn't know too much about Cable.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. Why Cable? Why did he go with that name? Did they ever explain that?
I think it's a very 90s thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Cable, big guy with giant guns showing up. They're just like, this is a 90s hero.
Yeah. Yes. His outfit does kind of bug me. Like when you see him in it, like I just never liked the color scheme for his outfit. It's got too much going on. Like, tone it down, guys. Let's give him 2 or 3 colors, not like 8 colors happening. Come on. A little bit much. All right, well, that is it for episode 1. Whew, we got to get into episode 2 now, which is a force to be reckoned with. Let's get into that one. What should we transition with over here? Let's,
You look nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
All right, and from that, we're going to get right into our ratings for this episode.
Sunspot here, Pessoal. Martin and Abby are about to break it down with the ratings for the latest episode. Check it out.
All right, I'm giving this one 8.5 team against teams. This was a fun episode as well. Just maybe not as heavy in the drama, but a lot of action and moments that are kind of tying it all together with all the history and the things that we saw in season 1 as well. We're getting all the new characters. It's just so awesome. I mean, I love Polaris and I love Psylocke. And in this episode and this new animation version, I'm loving them already. I love who's voicing them. Emma was also fun in this. She had some fun comical moments in this. It just feels like it's all headed somewhere that maybe we're not ready to go to just yet, but we'll see. We'll see where this season's taking us.
Okay. All right. I don't know what that means, but...
I mean, like, another big dramatic, someone's going to die, we're all going to cry.
I see. Uh-huh.
That, that's what I'm feeling is coming.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm giving this one 9 knockoffs and knockouts.
Oh, we switched this time.
Yeah, we switched a little bit. I really love this episode. It was awesome seeing Jubilee getting her flowers and like seeing her really take charge and continue what the X-Men taught her without them around right now, and carry not only the fight moves forward but also the ideology and making sure that they're practicing what they're preaching here. I think it's especially like poignant with society today and seeing that kind of storyline, and sometimes needing to become your own hero, when everything is against you.
Yeah.
And historically, it's also, I'll get into it a little later, but it's a really powerful storyline for Jubilee. We got the awesome intro aspect to this episode. This feels like new territory for the show, with exploring the different teams in different ways more in depth than the original show, since the original show was just this X-Men team. So it feels like we're really expanding the world here with this one, and also, like you said, the inclusion of some of the other characters that we really got to see here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so fun. I think the first episode for me was more emotional, more dramatic, and this one was more fun. So let's get into it. Why not?
You look a little on the weary side, honey. Been a long shift.
Okay, so let's kick it off with talking about the opening. We see a group of kids on the run from something. We don't know what's chasing them, and they're headed towards the X-Men mansion because they figure they're mutants. That's where they're going to be safe. That's their sanctuary. We can, it's basically like getting to the what do you call it when there's a building in different countries? If the United States has a building in France, you want to get there to what's the name of it? Not the consulate.
You're thinking of an embassy?
Embassy. Is it an embassy? Wait, yeah. Like if you're in a foreign country that's not maybe friendly to the Americans, the Americans have a building that's completely surrounded by soldiers and a gate and blockaded. Nobody can get in there unless you're a U.S. citizen. Is that an embassy? The U.S. embassy? They have one in every country.
That's more like political amnesty, like diplomats. That's where they go.
There's a name of the building though. Maybe it's embassy. You see it in all the movies, all the spy movies, all the action movies. We got to get to the U.S. embassy. We'll be safe there, because they're being hunted or chased in that country. They gotta get to that because that building is safe. It's safe against political turmoil. They're safe. I think it's embassy. I think that's the word. That's what That's what they're thinking. This building is. It's their safety because they're mutants. They're on the run, and which I thought surprising because I thought maybe the world knows that the building has been destroyed, but these kids didn't really know it. What was neat, because we see them running through the trees, and the one that was leading them has some kind of light-based power. She's got this bird, this I don't know what it is, an eagle or a hawk or something, acting like a flying flashlight. As they're running through the dark, through the forest and stuff, this bird is leading the way, and she's controlling it with her hand. I thought, that's kind of a neat power. I've never seen that before. And then the only other one, we didn't see all the kids show their powers. The other one turns into some like demon-looking thing, and that's all we really see of them. But interesting kind of fun opening. Like there's a little chase sequence, and we get to see some new kids. Whether they're of anybody relevant, I don't know. Maybe you can tell us.
Yeah, I'll go over the ones here since they do have lines and kind of a whole sequence to themselves. But there's like a million cameos in this episode, so
okay.
We're gonna go over all the other ones in Lockheed's Lair. So the guy who had the pink hair and had a shirt that kind of looks like the Phoenix symbol, that's Quentin Quire, or he goes by Kid Omega. He's a high-level telepath. He's one of my least favorite characters in the X world, but
Really?
he's here, and lots of people like him. So, lots of people were excited for him. I just don't like him.
Really?
But yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna get into it here but yeah, just not a character I love.
Quentin Quire.
Quentin Quire.
Okay.
So the one that you said turned into a demon. So I mentioned her when we were going through the trailer. That is Monet St. Croix, or M.
Okay.
So the demon that you saw, she has a demon form that's called Penance that she can turn into. It was an involuntary thing at first, but she's got kind of a bunch of powers. At this point, since it looks like she's teenager or very young adult, I don't think she has all of them realized at this point in the show.
Okay.
But so she's a telepath. She can fly. She has some telekinesis. She can actually literally combine with her siblings. They can combine together and transform into different forms because she has other siblings. One of those being the penance form that you saw, and then also has some regenerative powers. So not like Wolverine level, but she has some advanced healing. And the penance form, razor claws, very sharp body, is immune to telepathy.
Okay, so these guys are kind of like another version of the New Mutants. It's just a group of mutants
A little bit
that we don't really know.
Yeah, they're kind of a mix of a bunch of different generations.
Okay. Cool.
So the one that was in the blue and yellow shirt, the guy. So I was correct in the trailer. The subtitles also confirmed it for me. But that's Wing. His name is Wing.
Wing. Okay.
He flies. That's all he does.
That's all he
can
does.
Fly. Yep. So, which also that's confirmed. It means I know exactly what's happening in a certain scene in the trailer and what episode that happens in. But that is spoilers.
Oh.
So that was me confirming for myself that my intuition was correct on that one.
Okay.
But we'll get there when that episode gets there. And so then the other two. So the girl that had the bird kind of light projection power, and then there's another black kid that has kind of like the flat top and the blue shirt.
Yes.
I had to do some digging into them because I did not recognize them right away at all. And so I don't know if this is confirmed by the show, but this is what the internet seems to be saying about these two. So they're brother and sister. Their names are Mark and Jill, and the subtitles also confirmed. I definitely saw Mark in the subtitles.
Okay.
So there is an X-Men graphic novel. It's called God Loves Man Kills. It's a very famous story graphic novel. It's the story that introduces William Stryker, who's the famous preacher that hates mutants.
Yes.
And so the opening scene of that graphic novel features two young black kids running through a playground, and they end up getting killed in this opening sequence by a group called the Purifiers. The Purifiers are basically Stryker's religious strike force that they just want to get rid of mutants.
Purifiers, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What a name.
So,
okay.
From what the internet is saying, these two characters are Mark and Jill. And if they had lived, so they're giving them a chance to live in this show instead of being killed in that book. Because we never saw their powers in the book before they were killed, so they made up powers for them. And one of those is the bird light, kind of projection, manipulation, and then Mark is supposed to have eye blast. Yeah.
Okay.
So, because I did not recognize them, so that is what the internet is. A lot of people are saying on the internet is
Mark and Jill.
Confirmed, maybe not confirmed, but if that's the case, I do think that's kind of cool to be able to take those characters that appeared for one scene and being able to kind of give them
some life here a bit.
New life, new continuity here in the show.
Whether they'll come around again, I don't know, because they open the scene and that's it. We never come back to them in this episode. So.
Yeah, I mean they all got captured by X Factor, but now they're all escaped, but I don't know if that means they'll come back up at all in the show, or if it's just cameo for this episode.
Just to say, hey, we brought life to these guys. I mean, the bird flashlight thing was kind of cool. I thought it was a neat bit. Whether she can do more with it or not, I don't know, but it was just kind of cool. It's just something about her intrigued me, similar to when we were reading the comics, and those two that
Rusty and Skids.
Rusty and Skids intrigued me. So there's sometimes somebody just gets to you. It's the same thing I felt when I met Canonball for the first time. I was like, wow, there's something about him that I really like. It just, you connect for whatever reason. They're not the only ones that are introduced. We also get to see X Factor. We get Havok, Polaris, Strongman, Wolfsbane, and Multiple Man. And they're the government task force rounding up mutants and relocating them for their own safety, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
So I like how they got
I'll come back to that point, yeah.
They get the big introductive scene where the camera's down low looking up at them, making them look all big and heroic, and it's just funny. But this is where you call out, you were mentioning these sneak peeks last week. This is Havok is voiced by Teddy Sears.
Yep.
So my character, me, is being voiced by Teddy Sears, who you all know played Zoom on the live-action show Flash. So there's another fun connection.
Yes. I knew his voice was familiar when I watched it at the premiere, and I was like, I know it. I looked very closely, and I was like, Teddy Sears. I know. That's going to be a fun fact for. Well, you're not Flash here, but for Havok, that's going to be a fun.
Yeah, I play Flash on the other podcast, and I'm Havok here. So Havok was played by the guy on Flash. It's a weird conundrum of connections there. So fun. So Cable then finds Jubilee and Sunspot at a video arcade and wants to recruit them into his team to fight Apocalypse. He's given them the lowdown, and he's basically saying, we're not heroes, we're not students, we're soldiers, and everybody's going to be after us. Once you join our team, the government's going to be after us, everybody's going to be after us. And Jubilee asks, this team got a name? And that leads into dun, 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 dun. The theme song kicks in, and we get an all-new intro starring X-Force taking the place of the X-Men, and that was so surprising and so very fun to see. A completely different opening with a whole new team.
Yes, this is one of my favorite parts, and one of the things I had to bite my lip on because it was so cool seeing it at the premiere.
And you said everybody freaked out when they saw that. Yeah,
being in the room, everyone was cheering at it because the moment it right before it comes on screen, you realize what's getting set up because you're like, the intro hasn't happened yet. There's never a cold open before the intro on this show.
No.
So, and then it starts, and it was so cool. Seeing that, X-Force 97, the whole room exploded. And this theme, it was even different. It had more electric guitar in it, to max. It was fun. It was just fun.
But I mean, just to shoot, this team got a name, and it leads right into that. What a cool, fun way to do that. Oh my God. Whoever is writing and directing and putting the show together, they have got such fun ideas, and they're just putting together masterpiece after masterpiece. This show is so good. It's by far my favorite cartoon right now.
Yes.
It's so cool. So cool. So their mission is hunting down the first Horseman, which is war. You told us about the War of the Future. Well, this is the War of the 1990s.
Yes.
What is his story? Because Cable says he's the cause of many genocides, many wars, and many massacres over his course of history that he's been around. What is this guy, this version of war? What's his story?
So this version of war, this Horseman, his real name is Abraham Kuros. He's in the comics, but he's also was in the original animated series.
He's been around a while, this guy, yeah.
Yeah. So we actually see him getting turned into war in the in one of the episodes in the original animated. I think it's the episode, so that Rogue, there's one where Rogue goes looking for a cure on Muir Island for her mutation, but it's actually, there's no cure. It's actually Apocalypse trying to get mutants to come so he can find his next horseman and turn them into horsemen, saying that it's a cure, and then they undergo the horseman tech procedure.
Right.
And Abraham Kuros, who's this war, is one of the ones that goes through it in that episode. So he has energy manipulation powers. He can create explosions by clapping his hands. Probably other stuff, but that's what he usually does. That's his signature. It's the Hulk smash. Yeah. So he was also war at one point in the comics as well, I believe. In the original X Factor run. I don't remember too much more than that, but he's here in the original animated series, and they brought him back into 97.
So that just manipulate energy by clapping his hands. There's really not much more to him. Why is he green?
That was part of his original mutation, I believe.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, well, there you go. Abraham. So they find him, they find War at a street festival in Rio de Janeiro, and it's a full team attack to capture him. Everybody, the entire X-Force is there. There's some cool tag team moves. We get Sunspot throwing Jubilee for, I guess, is a light orb powered super punch.
Yeah.
Psylocke is in there, and she ends up taking War down by putting him to sleep psychically. I mean, there's so much going on here. I could get into the whole fight, but a lot of really cool moves just happen. They all kind of work really well together and bring War down, which I thought was fun.
Yeah, and it's not just a street festival. This is like the street festival because it's Rio Carnival, which is like the biggest festival in Brazil.
Okay.
It happens before Lent starts every year. It's like their biggest thing. It's like a giant party in Rio.
Yeah.
And just like random side notes in the whole sequence. When Psylocke jumps off the building, like when she lands on the ground, she destroys a car first. It's just like the animation of the people reacting to it because they're all going like, what's happening?
What the F?
It just made me laugh so hard that like they included that little moment. And then when they do like take out War, Jubilee gives like the little Sailor Moon peace sign over the eye when she nails him, and that made me laugh too.
It's just she's talking all like she's in a video game or something too. The way she's narrating the story. Yeah, it was fun. It's just a fun little battle sequence that happens. But let's talk about Psylocke. This is a good place to explain all of her abilities because we see her use so many of them in this episode. Like there's a lot going on here. She can see into people's minds and their memories. She can feel the room or objects and what they've experienced or gone through as if the objects are real. You know, there's so much she can do. What can you tell us about Psylocke here to kind of give us more of a in-depth view of her?
Psylocke. So this version of Psylocke, because there's two, and it's also very convoluted and messy, much
my gosh.
much of X-Men.
Okay.
But so she's a telepath. So you see like the purple butterfly effect of her psychic abilities. It usually like kind of manifests in the butterfly.
Yes.
And she can also create a psychic blade, or it's usually called a psychic knife, which she uses. We see her use it on War when he gets knocked out. But so she can basically put the people to sleep, knock people out, shut off their mind temporarily if she wants to. She can use it when it's sticking in someone's head to see the memories, basically use it as a telepathy blade. It's a really fun visual because telepathy in real life would not look like anything, so it's a really fun visual thing.
Yeah.
And she's also a fully trained ninja from birth. Like, she was trained by the Hand, which, if anyone knows that organization, it's all throughout the Marvel comics, but...
Yes. She got a lot. Like, she's really cool.
Yeah.
Like I like her use of her psychic abilities even more than even Jean. Like, Psylocke's just really neat how she does it because she's a badass ninja woman. Like, she's so cool. And I love her accent, too.
Yes, so that kind of leads me to the convoluted part of Psylocke's history.
Okay.
So Psylocke, as you see her here, she first appeared in the 90s.
I'm going to sit back for this. It's a big
very
note.
this like very iconic, I'd say, uniform at this point. The look you see now, the purple ninja outfit with the purple hair. So this version in the show is, I'm going to assume, is Betsy Braddock, Psylocke, in someone else's body. This is the confusing part.
Okay.
So Betsy is an English white woman. Betsy Braddock is an English white woman. She went through something called the Siege Perilous at the very end of the Outback era in the comics. So, like, late 80s, very early 90s. I'm not explaining what that is because that would also take forever.
Bonus episode number 2.
Yeah. So you go through the Siege Perilous and you go through like trials and different changes and things. And on the other side, and you also come through with sometimes your memories wiped or your previous life, you don't remember what's going on and things of that nature. So when she came through the Siege Perilous, she came out on the other side of it in an Asian body. Her consciousness got placed into, her name is Conan, or the W is silent. It's spelled Kwannnon.
Looks like Quanon, yeah, but it's Conan.
But I'm pretty sure the W is silent in the way you say it.
Okay.
And so she got placed into her body, and Conan's
consciousness got super buried, like in the back of, it's like basically trapped there and can't do anything.
Wow.
Kind of a deal. And they did not separate back into their own bodies and selves until 2019 in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. So from the mid-90s to 2019, that's a very long time in comic world.
Mm-hmm.
So Betsy took over that body. It was not of her own will, like she didn't do it knowingly or anything of that nature. She didn't know what happened. So the British, like, English accent here makes me think that they are going with this being Betsy and not just starting with Conan.
Okay.
But Nyako Mori, who's the voice actress, is British Japanese, which makes it a little more like, I can't tell which direction they're going, if they're going to do both or if they're even going to get into it at all, because it's super convoluted and racial body swapping is weird and not something I think they need to bring up or go into. But if they started with Betsy, then I don't know. It's weird to me. I would have liked them to have just started with Conan. But will the show dive into that? I don't know. But that's a very quick, convoluted history of Psylocke.
And it makes her fascinating. Like, there's so much depth to it. And yeah, cool. I mean, that's great. I love it. Let's move on to the next guy. We got Archangel here. And we saw in the opening credits what looks like the moment when he's being turned into a horseman, which I'm wondering, why would they have that in the credits? Why would they show that? Because he's already gone through the process, because that's in the past. When, so like that whole, everything that happened to him is in the past, according to this show's timeline. He already went from angel to becoming a horseman, to becoming Death Angel, to becoming Archangel, to all that kind of stuff. Like, that's all already happened. Now he's a good guy. So I'm so curious why they threw that in the opening sequence. I don't know. But do you have an answer for that?
Well, I think just looking at kind of how they did some of the opening credits in like season 1, and when they added in new scenes, it was to give a little bit of even though it's not like you're watching the scene, it's just kind of a visual, you're not necessarily knowing the context, but I think it's to help give a little bit of context. So to people who might not know that Archangel was turned into a horseman by Apocalypse, that gives just a little bit of context to you being like, this happened to him. They're going to talk about it a lot in this episode. So here's just a little kind of glimpse into what they're talking about.
Well, that's my next point here, which is where I'm going to ask you a question, because when they have War tied up here, War states that he's betrayed that he's talking to Archangel. He says, you betrayed your leader and you will be punished. And then later on, Jubilee asks about saving him. Like, why aren't we saving him? And Angel says, or why, you were saved. Why can't, if you were a horseman and you were saved, why can't we save War and get him out of this? And Angel says, well, it's because Rogue saved me, and that's why he's okay. So, like I was saying, we're past that entire history, Archangel's entire history. We're just putting that in the background. I don't know if we're even going to see it. He's already back to being himself, but he's still stuck in the Archangel body. So, can you explain, maybe give us a bit of that backstory? What it is that Rogue did to save him, or how she helped him? Like, what's his story there that gets us to the point that we're at with him now?
Yeah, so in the original animated series, we don't see, so that little clip of Warren being turned into Archangel, into the Horseman, we don't actually see that in the show. But I think, I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched all of it, but he does show back up as Archangel, basically.
I remember in the comics. I have the comics.
Yeah, in the comics, yeah, but in this timeline, in the original animated series, and so he's a horseman for a while, like on Apocalypse's side. There's a point where they're fighting. I don't remember the full context, but Rogue is there, and Rogue ends up touching Archangel at one point, to enough of an extent that basically, like, the brainwashing elements, like, because there's some brainwashing elements coming to being turned into a horseman so that you are serving Apocalypse, like, fully. Rogue touches him enough that she absorbs enough of those memories so that it starts to break the conditioning that is on Archangel. And he starts to kind of remember being transformed into a horseman, and it gives him enough leeway to get back to himself and break out of that conditioning and remember what Apocalypse did to him and regain control of his own mind. So Rogue kind of helps siphon some of that away from him.
Yeah, because she takes it away, and then it eventually just dissipates. Anytime she takes people's powers, it just eventually dissipates. Or when
it all stays in her, actually.
She keeps all of it.
Yeah.
Even those that she's only touched, like say the doctor that she touched to learn how to,
Yep, she's still got his memories. They're somewhere in the back of her brain.
Oh my God, her brain! You'd think she'd have a brain the size of that. What's that guy? The brain that always fights the Hulk. That guy.
The doctor. I think.
Doctor.
What's his name?
He's a short little guy with a massive head. I can't remember.
Yeah, his name's just the doctor.
The doctor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know that. My favorite character. I didn't know she retains all of it.
There's
I thought
a lot of
because she doesn't keep the powers. The powers eventually dissipate.
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, I mean, except for Miss Marvel, who she absorbed fully. But
yes,
I mean,
but
everybody else that she's ever taken powers from, they don't stay.
Her brain is full of memories of everyone she's ever touched, and there's a bunch of storylines that kind of go into that in the comics of them starting to overtake, or her asking Xavier to be like, "Help me shut my brain up."
Yeah.
Because they start to all come, and start talking and trying to overtake, Miss Marvel. Her personality and memories start to take over Rogue for a while through the comics.
I think
it's
I
so
have
prevalent.
those stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that part.
So yeah, she keeps them all. There's somewhere she has a very fractured psyche because
God.
it's like hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people she's touched. Yeah,
probably
Jeez.
at this point, especially at this point in the comics.
Oh my God! So Professor X must have did something to her to lock it all down. Yeah, jeez. All right, so again, War's still tied up to the tree. And Cable orders Archangel to put him out of his misery, and he hands him a gun, and he says, "This is more of a mercy kill than murder." Like, because Jubilee's arguing, like, "What? We can't do it. What do you mean?" And Archangel's like, "This is a mercy kill. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter." And she turns to continue arguing with Cable about it, and you hear Angel pull the trigger. He kills War point blank, and that surprised me. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a heavy scene.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a very good moment for the arc of this episode and for Jubilee's arc. And I mean, just in showing how the different teams operate here, because obviously the X-Men have a little different code in this show. And then now you're seeing X-Force and how they operate. You're going to see X-Factor and how they operate and their approach to things and, what they do for each of their missions. So, yeah, I think it's a really illuminating scene. Well, and also one that's like, the show isn't messing around right now.
No, the show's not messing around, but it's interesting in a few ways because we just finished talking about Warren, Angel, coming back to being a good guy again, but yet he's willing to just kill somebody point blank. He's like, this is what I got to do. There's no turning back. We can't save the Horsemen like I was saved because we don't have Rogue here, so it's a mercy kill.
That's his way of thinking, yeah.
So he's not quite...
He doesn't, know another way to potentially save them if there is a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. That was shocking. I mean, it's similar to Rogue basically dropping Gyrich off the building.
Yep, Yep, I just got an idea in my brain, but I'm going to hold it.
Oh, okay.
It's just something that just connected. It potentially might be a theory, but...
Huh. All right, you don't want to tell us?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, you
got to formulate it a little more, but... Oh, yeah, I have other notes. Before we head completely out of the scene and go to Emma, I do want to mention that what Psylocke sees in War's head, the memory that she pulls out. So in the scene that we see in War's head, War is delivering a coffin to Apocalypse in the room in Switzerland where the Horseman technology is.
Right.
So, I mean, my just blatant guess, along with probably everyone else's guess, is that was probably Gambit's coffin and that he might already be a Horseman.
Oh, man. Because, we only see War right now. We don't know who the other three are.
And Warren Angel was Death, so there's no current Death Horseman.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And now War's dead, so that leaves room for at least one other Horseman, too.
To be made, yeah.
So this could be setting up new current Horsemen.
And is it brand new for the show, or is it new Horsemen we know are coming from the comics?
could be either way.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh.
Jeez, okay.
But then, yes, because Psylocke also sees the booby trap of the diamond, who does that lead us to?
It leads us to Emma Frost. We get much more Emma in this episode than we've had before, so it's pretty cool. Seems like she's going to be a recurring character. We'll have to see. But it was interesting here where she helps X-Force with some information on what war was after, and it leads them to Switzerland. That's where they're headed.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty cool. And you had said earlier you really like Emma, so you're probably happy that
I do like Emma. Here. She's in her 80s evil phase right now, still.
Yeah.
or at least transitioning out of the like evil to more like ambiguous, morally whatever serves me, Emma.
I need to make money. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
yes.
Yeah, she's in she's like the information seller, the weapons dealer, she's all that.
Yeah. She's a little ways off from being like a fully X-Men member as she is right now in the currently in the comics.
Right.
But that's okay. There's time to go through arcs, so we'll see if
we got 4 seasons coming, so
yeah.
And then let's talk about Sunspot. He's got a cool new suit, which is pretty cool. I thought, woo, but I kind of laughed like he looks cool. He's all orange and red, and he's got all these flares on his shoulders. He's got a lot of stuff going on, but he's wearing a Robin-like mask, which I thought was kind of funny. He's very bright and colorful, but his mask looks like Robin from Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Yep, this is his original X-Force uniform. So when the New Mutants book kind of turned into X-Force, this was his uniform there.
Yeah, so it was kind of fun. I thought it was real fun. But it turns out Emma is going to betray them. It was all a setup. So they're in Switzerland. They're in some underground bunker, wherever they are, and they get ambushed by X-Factor. And this is where we get team against team, which is kind of fun. X-Factor versus X-Force. All the X-Men are fighting each other. It's kind of fun. Kind of a fun moment.
Yeah.
And this is where it seems like Angel is kind of, or I should say Archangel, is kind of useless when you got Polaris around, because she easily controls his wing attacks. Like, he throws all the spikes at her. She's just like, they're made out of metal, whatever. She grabs them, turns them against him, fires them right back. And then later there's a scene where she takes his metal wings and wraps them up in him, so he's completely trapped. And I'm like,
yep.
Yeah, you're useless against a magnetic foe. So funny. I mean, it's just hilarious. And then we got Sunspot and Havok. They're taking shots at each other, but I found this interesting. They both harness their power, different energies from the sun, solar energies. Who would be stronger if it was just them going toe to toe with no one else around? Who would actually outmatch the other?
Sunspot's is from the sun, and Havok's technically has cosmic rays, which I guess is the sun. Counts as the sun, but I think he can pull them from more than just the sun too.
Okay, yeah, because I thought they explained before he was kind of solar connected somehow.
Yeah, solar cosmic radiation is kind of how they explain it.
Okay.
I don't know, because they've both been moments where both of them in the comics have been explained to do very, very powerful things if they're able to harness enough energy.
Yeah.
Both of them have gone evil at points in the comics because they've learned how to harness their energy too much.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know who would win.
That's the ultimate nerd question. Who would beat who in a fight, right? Yeah. But the thing is, you see Sunspot, he actually fires this two-handed, powerful, spiraling blast at Havok, and Havok just turns around and goes, pew, just like he's firing a pistol with one hand, and knocks it out of the way, like counters it really easily. So I have a feeling like Havok would overpower him because Sunspot is still a rookie.
Yeah, it might depend on the training levels.
Yeah. So in the end, it ends up not really being a fair fight, which is surprising. I kind of thought it'd be fairly toe-to-toe, but X-Factor overpowers them pretty quickly, especially when, and this is cool, we all know how much I love Polaris. When Havok says, all right, wrap it up, Polaris just shuts everybody down.
She literally does, yeah.
And she wraps them all up with metal. Like she's the ringer on the team. Like, nobody has a chance against her. She's like her father, like Magneto. When enough is enough, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah. It was really cool. It just takes them all down in one. it was like they were toying with him, and Havok's just like, all right,
Pretty
wrap
much.
it up. The rest of you were just having fun. Polaris just finished him. You're the ringer all the time. So I really like that. But she also, I realized there's a couple of shots of her from the side. She has a lot of hair. Like, it's all the way down her back. And it's thick. And it's bush. Like, Tina Turner would be proud of that hair.
That's how she was drawn in the comics, especially in the 90s. Everyone's got, like, the big, voluminous hair.
Yeah. Oh, my God, does she have a lot of it. But during this entire fight, it's all going on, and I had to laugh. Like I said, Emma Frost had some funny moments. She's just leaning against one of the computer consoles, and she's like, yawn.
Oh, I know.
And she turns into her diamond form because stuff starts flying at her. She just turns to diamond form, and it just bounces off of her.
It's so good. It's like so Emma. It's such a small moment, but I'm like, that's like, the character.
Yeah.
So Emma's really good.
Yeah, I thought it was so fun. And Jubilee, she's fun at the great verbal jab. She's calling X Factor the C-listers and calling Havok the knockoff Cyclops. I was just laughing.
Yeah, because she ends up getting cut off from the rest of X-Force as they're on their way out.
Yeah.
So they've got her in an interrogation room right now. But yeah, her calling Havok knockoff Cyclops was also very good.
Yeah.
This got like a huge laugh at the premiere.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
See, I get no respect. Havok never gets any respect.
No, he does not, because he has a more respectable brother.
Yeah. Pretty fun though. So like you said, she got separated, they caught her. It was actually Havok. As they're running out of the doors are about to close. Havok reaches out and grabs her and pulls her in. So they throw her in a prison-like complex for mutants, and we see a lot of them there. I don't know if any of them are recognizable. I don't know if you want to go through it. They're like that. She's walking past tons of prison cells, and there's tons of people in there. I didn't recognize any of them. There's a lot.
I did. So,
Okay.
But they're all in Lockheed's lair, and it's going to be rapid fire because there's like 20 of them.
Okay, so we'll save it to that. But it makes you think, what's going on here? Like, why do you have a mutant team rounding up other mutants and putting them in prison? How is that okay? How are they okay with doing that?
Yeah, so I'm going to get a little serious here for a moment because I think I was mentioning a little bit early for Jubilee's specific storyline and kind of historical significance to this.
Yes.
But, I mean, one, it's not okay. It's not okay for the mutants to be rounding up mutants and putting them in prison.
Yeah.
So, like you said earlier in the news broadcast that they were watching at the arcade, Val's campaign, she was saying that they are going to relocate mutants for their own safety and getting any of the dangerous ones basically off the streets, which if you hear government say anything like that, it's not good. That's not what they mean usually.
Yeah.
It usually means they're imprisoning and relocating a population because said government does not like said population. So in the comics, X Factor originated as a government-sponsored mutant team that dealt with other mutant threats and problems. So I think Polaris was talking about it, how they deal with mutant and human threats, which on the surface, they look like a police force, which is kind of what they look like. But in the comics, they're doing that so they can secretly trying to help all of these mutants out instead, but not in the public eye. So they're kind of doing some shadow stuff, trying to help mutants out.
Okay.
And with what Polaris does and some of the looks that I saw she and Havok give each other throughout the episode, I do think that's the case here in this. And they do have to play a part, being more public facing a lot of the time. But
right.
With like Jubilee specifically in this episode, and I think why she gets a lot of the shine, there is historically here in the U.S. during World War II, there was a time when the government said they are relocating a large population for their own safety and our country's safety, and that was Japanese Americans, Asian Americans, because the Japanese were on the Axis powers in World War II, and they thought any part of that population might, be on that side and were spies and things of that nature. So they moved whole Japanese American families, populations to internment camps here in the U.S.
Okay.
Now, I think specifically with Jubilee being an Asian American character, and also I know the director of this episode, Emmett Yanamura, is Asian American as well. That was a very huge kind of thing to touch on here, is going against a government that says they know what's right for you, and when it's just specifically a bigoted thing happening.
Yeah.
And I think why it's a really, really good and really important storyline, seeing, we're going to get into all the cool fight stuff and all the escape scene and all of that happening, but just on the historical side, and also just lots of governments and things throughout history doing a lot of the same thing. Obviously, Nazi Germany is a very big one that started out in the same way of moving the Jewish population to ghettos and then to the camps and things of that nature. This is how it always starts, is saying it's for people's safety, it's for all of that.
Of course, that's their cover-up.
So I think it's a very fun episode, but it has that deeper aspect to it that is really getting at the heart of X-Men and the liberation storylines and things of that nature, which is why I really love this episode too, because it really gets to the heart of that.
Yeah, and it's good. I like that you bring that up, because this is part of why I think X-Men and Spider-Man and Marvel in general, why their stories are so much better than DC's, is because and just the way they write it, it's so, they subtly and just naturally insert these huge, heavy, and important topics into the storylines, but they're not shoving it in your face. They're not shoving it down your throat. They're just making it organically part of the X-Men's world, the X-Men story. The X-Men, I mean, even just calling them mutants could be discriminatory. Why do you want to call somebody a mutant? It makes it sound like I'm wrong. I'm not the way I'm supposed to be. So there's all this stuff that really just touches, and this is, I think, why so many people can connect to Marvel stories so much more, because it's so grounded in reality where these stories come from. They can, and like you said, like you've told us before in your story, when you found the X-Men, why you connected to them so strongly, and why you're still reading them to this day, all these years later, is because you found something in their stories that really relates to your life, and you feel it. And DC and Superman and Wonder Woman, it's all fantasy and made up make believe, and it's so over the top and out of this world nonsense that you can't connect, you can't relate to any of it. And that's always why I've preferred Marvel, because you get this stuff, this real hard-hitting storylines that people are finding all these little things that they can connect with, and you get emotionally invested in what's happening. And the way you bring it up here, like I said, hey, this is the fun episode, but you're so right. They're touching on stuff that's related to the Holocaust and what governments can do to people that they don't like and they don't want around, and the control that they have, and it's powerful stuff. And that is why X-Men is so good, because they can insert this into their storyline without shoving it in our face and go, hey, look at this agenda we're pushing. They don't do that. It's just naturally part of their story, and it's so good, so well done.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I like a lot of fantasy and fiction. I like DC and stuff too, but X-Men has always been my jam. I don't want to discount anybody who's connected to DC on that level. But yeah, it's because I have talked about it before on this podcast and with anyone who's talked to me just about X-Men in general. But it was the thing as a teenager, and trying to figure out who I was and why I was feeling the way as I was feeling, and growing up in a very fundamentalist religious area, and I'm just being queer and in that space is not fun. But X-Men was the thing that really, really, even though it's fictional and fantasy, it was the God Loves Man Kills story that I was talking about earlier was the very first X-Men comic I read.
Oh, geez.
And it's all about 14-year-old me reading the first scene has a lynching.
Wow.
But I was like, you know what? I'm staying because there's something being said here. And even a 14-year-old who maybe didn't understand a lot of those heavier topics could see this is a group of people standing up to corrupted power.
Yeah.
And that's what this episode is. That's what a lot of X-Men is. And those are some of the storylines. I love a lot of the fun stuff in the fantasy space elements, lots of things. But, I'm always coming back to that core.
Yeah. Well, there's the part of the story that you are emotionally connected to, and then there's the fun fantasy action stuff that you're just oh my God, this is so fun. I get to have this much fun and be reached deeply in my emotions. It's best of both worlds. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, such good stuff. I mean, this is the difference. This is why when I talk about DC, like why I preferred Superman and Lois over anything else that's ever been done before, because they took Superman and they grounded him and made him a relatable character. For the first time in the history of Superman, he became relatable as a family man, as a father, as I'm just a man who happens to have super abilities and I can do all these amazing things, but my family comes first and all that. Superman's never been told like that before. And then you go and watch the Superman movie, and it's just over-the-top nonsense. It has none of that groundedness. It's ridiculous and silly, and it doesn't connect you to the man at all, and there's nothing about family. It's just, like, Superman and Lois is the way it should be. And this is my opinion, but that's the way Superman should be, and that's the closest thing I've seen DC do that gets to Marvel type of serious storytelling, and I loved it for that reason alone, so... Anyway, let's jump down off our soapboxes for a second here and get back to the episode. So Jubilee, it seems, kind of touching on what you were getting into there, it seems that she does start to get through to Polaris, because you said Polaris and Havok were sharing some looks. Mm-hmm. And she gets through to Polaris a little bit about that exact thing. And because you see Polaris start to think about what it is they are doing. What are we doing with these people here? And she actually comes back to Jubilee's prison cell and unlocks the door, and she goes, I'm going to turn my back. You got 5 minutes to do what you need to do. And, here's your window of escape. And she walks away. And Jubilee's like, all right. She lets everybody out. Like, and what happens is we get this fun scene with her. She puts on her headphones, very 80s style headphones, I might add. I was waiting to see the Sony Walkman dangling around. She puts on this headphones, and you hear the music that she's playing, and it's some old pop rock from the early 90s, and it's playing during the entire sequence of her escaping, which is just fun.
Yes. Yeah, Volcano Girls by Veruca Salt. That is the song.
Oh, okay. There you go. Fun. I like, it's so cool that the show is even licensing real songs to play.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, like a needle drop in the middle of this episode, but it's super fun.
It was so cool. And there's this moment when Jubilee's being held in like a full Nelson position. That's when your arms are being held up behind your head. A soldier grabs a hold of her because she's kicking everybody's butts, but she runs backwards into the sky. She doesn't see him coming. And she does this neat move where he gets her up close to the wall, and she kicks off of the wall with her feet. And you see her energy balls, her glowing light orbs, plasmoids fire from her feet and kicks him backwards. And I'm like, what? Yep. I didn't know she could use her powers through her feet.
She's been training, learning new things, and we get to see a lot of that training, I think, in this scene.
I guess so. And speaking of feet, is she wearing Heely shoes? Where did those come from?
I didn't even think about it because I'm like, yeah, Jubilee's on roller skates. This is normal for her character. But I didn't think about no, she's in a prison. She wouldn't have gotten them from everywhere. So maybe she does.
The wheels just came out of the bottom of her shoes, so she's wearing Heelys.
Which is funny.
Because they were popular back then, right?
Yeah. Or she had specially made boots that turn into roller skates, which are essentially Heelys.
Essentially Heelys. Yeah.
X-Force, X-Men style.
Yeah, I think if you look at, they were inline wheels. They weren't roller skate wheels. They were inline, so almost roller blades type. Yeah, so I just thought that was funny. She's wearing Heelys.
I didn't question it. I was like, yeah, she's got roller skates now.
Yeah. Just happened. She's like Batman now, just gadgets coming out everywhere on her uniform. But then we see another cool move. We see when she gets surrounded by soldiers, she curls up into the fetal position and creates this big explosion of light around her now. Again, another new way of her powers.
She can be a little atomic bomb if she wants.
Which is cool, because I never appreciated her until this series. The series is showing us a little bit more what Jubilee's capable of, which is, she's always rainbow and very colorful, and that kind of always turned me off.
And that's her personality.
That's her personality. But for me as a teenage boy, in the 80s and 90s, I didn't want any colorful rainbow girl stuff. I didn't want that. So I never really was interested in Jubilee, but this show is making me appreciate her more.
Yeah, and they're letting her grow up too. I think in the original, she was perpetually 16 across all the seasons, so they're letting her grow up here too.
Exactly. Yeah, very true. There's a moment after all of this, or during all of this, when Cable and Sunspot are arguing because Sunspot wants to go back to rescue her, They have no idea that she's escaping right now. But Cable thinks, she can handle it. She's tough. She can handle it. I trained you guys. She'll be fine. So that line caught me because since the arcade scene when he recruits them, maybe a few more months have passed. Like, are we in 1998 right now at least? Because he says, I trained you guys. She's going to be fine. Well, according to the episode, you just recruited her yesterday. So how much training would there have been? But it seems like we went through a time jump. If he's confident enough in his training of her that she'll be fine, we must have had a time jump.
I'd say at least a few months. I mean, all we really get to see is there's a very brief in the intro. There's like a training montage very quickly of Psylocke and Jubilee training.
Okay, I missed that.
It's like at the very end of the intro, I think.
Yeah.
But Jubilee's hair grew out, so she's got her longer hair. So it's been at least a couple of months, but that's really all we get in terms of feeling how much time has passed again.
That's a good visual reference. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Her hair is definitely it's not the little buzz cut anymore. The spikes on top. Yeah, it's down past her ears. So you're right. Okay. So 1998, like we've been joking about how
it's X-Men 98 now. Sorry, everyone.
So they end up breaking out all the captured mutants, and they get away from the facility. And this kind of goes back to what you're saying in your opening monologue. Like, Jubilee is sort of taking charge. She's changing their mission on the fly to be a mission of helping the mutants and not a mission of tracking people down and hunting them down. She wants to help. And it's more similar, more in line to what the X-Men were doing, what she learned from being with the X-Men for a few years. And it's like she's really carrying the heritage of that forward and what the team was meant to do. And I kind of like not only is she doing that, but I kind of like how Cable just kind of, maybe you're right, because he knows who his parents are and where they're from, so he's kind of letting her take charge.
Yeah, it gets into the thematic elements between both of these first two episodes, because I think Cable's at this point, he's seen a lot, been super hardened since we just saw him as Nathan in the first episode, and then we're gonna go back and see him as Nathan in a scene. But him having his arc through this episode 2 is reminding, like, because it's in my favorite scene when he's talking about kids are tougher than they look, or kids are tougher than they seem. And I think he's seeing Jubilee taking all of this action, and he's going like, you know what? And they're talking about, like, what's the point of fighting Apocalypse if we're not actually also right now fighting for the world as it could be, that we need it to be.
Yeah.
So I think that's Cable getting reminded, like, there's more than just the singular mission of kill Apocalypse. Like, we are trying to build a better world here, and that's him softening and remembering that ideals, especially of him as a kid, as we're about to see again.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But, I mean, and going back, I need to point it out, because I just love when the little moment of when Jubilee's now jumped off of the helicarrier.
Oh yeah, she dives right off. Yeah, you're right.
She's like, yeah, Sunspot's got me.
Yeah.
And they're watching, and the fight's over, and Polaris just rolls up, and it's like, what happened to Jubilee? What happened here? It's just so funny. She's like so deadpan about it. She's like, what happened? I don't know what happened at all.
No, because what's her name? Val is like giving them heck. Like,
yeah.
She knows they were involved with it somehow. But...
Yeah, she probably does.
Yeah.
But that's also when her and Havok give like a little smile to each other. So that's when I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure Havok's in on this too.
Yeah.
And this is what they kind of wanted to happen, to an extent. So it wasn't falling on them and affecting their necessarily image, but they helped put it in motion to actually get all these mutants out.
Yeah. So they see, you might be going, oh, I hate these guys. Like, what are they doing? But secretly, you can like them again because they're on the right side of things.
Yeah, or going back in that direction.
Yeah. So, like you were giving us a hint out there, we see Cable remembering. He's remembering stuff, and then we get to go in and see the visual of what it is he's remembering, and we flash back to the future. And we see the finish of Nathan's arm again, like when he's got his hand in that ring and the little computer starts talking to him, and we see his arm get completed. And then the little computer pops out of his forearm. It's a little blue glowing box. It's Gideon. Hi, Gideon. Yay. And it seems to know everything. Like, what is that thing and what is its importance? I think he kind of gave us a lot of information about it already.
It's ship. It's a part of ship. Yep. That's about all the info I got.
And that's what it is. But it's also able to open a time slide. Like, that's a cool term. Because Nathan asks, he says, time slide the X-Men back to the 1990s. And I just like, okay, the computer can do whatever he asks it to do. A time slide, just, do it.
Yeah, that's what Cable references his certain version of time travel as, is either a time slide or a body slide through time.
I like that idea, time sliding. That's cool. Very cool.
Because it's a little more, it can sometimes be a little more like boomerangy. So if
Which
you remember...
Which we saw in season 1.
Yes, yes. When he got pulled back right before Genosha. So to an extent, sometimes he can only be there for a certain amount of time and then get pulled back. But
right. And sometimes he can stay as long as he wants, or...
Yep.
But he has no control over which one it is?
I don't know. But I don't know, because the Genosha one was a fixed point, so he couldn't, like, stay and change anything. So he got automatically... The computer's like, nope, back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. We're learning stuff.
Yeah. I know we're at the end of the episode, but I just want to note that it played in both episodes, but I just really love the theme for Cable. It's like that, like, hopeful electric guitar motif that plays throughout, and I just like, yes, Newton Brothers, you're back on it.
They are so good right now. Like, oh my god! Oh, I just realized a bunch of my lights went off behind me. They must be out of battery power. Yeah, the music is so well done on this show. The orchestral, everything that's going on. They really put it together well. Yeah.
Yes,
good job.
For sure.
Good job. All right, we're going to pause for our second ad break, and when we come back, it'll be Lockheed's lair, and I'm going to sit back like Jubilee was when she was falling through the sky with her hands behind her head. Let's get to our ads.
Don't you agree?
All right. Kick back. What you got for us?
Yes, I'm going to try to rapid fire through all this because there's a lot, and we still have to get to feedback.
And favorite scenes.
And favorite scenes, and I have to go to bed. But so in the arcade in the beginning of the episode, when they're watching the newscast, to one side on the wall there's a menu board next to the TV, and one of the specials on that is called the Mall Babe, which is a reference to one of Jubilee's famous quotes in the original series was, "Does a mall babe eat chili fries?"
What?
So,
really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a blink and you'll miss it.
Well, I mean, that's the kind of teenager she is. Like, she's the kid that hung out at the mall all the time. That's her personality.
Well, she was an orphan living in the mall.
Yeah.
So, yes. Well, not in the original animated series. She had a host, like an adoptive family, but in the comics, that's what was happening.
The age group that I'm from were when malls in the 80s and 90s, when malls were a big thing. That's all we did as teenagers. You went to the mall and you hung. Like I knew the malls in the towns that I lived in. I knew them inside and out, every foot of those places. Corners.
I wish it was still like that.
Oh.
Yeah, there's just dead buildings everywhere.
Yeah, but it was so fun to go hang out. You'd hang. We had an arcade that we hung out in. So I'd spend my $5 allowance that I got in quarters, and you knew the cool areas to hang out, and you knew the places to avoid because a certain gang would be in that area. It's just the mall was so cool to hang out in. I'm sure the stores hated all the teenagers being there all the time because we never spent any money in any of the stores, but the food court got all our money for sure. We're always
I'm sure. Yeah.
But yeah, the mall was a lifestyle back then.
Yeah.
And that's dead. Nobody does that anymore.
It is. Yeah, the puddle culture is gone.
Yep. All right, what's next?
Cable's file. He has that file on Apocalypse.
Oh,
so
okay.
There's a bunch of little stuff in there.
You had to pause it to see all this stuff?
I did. I sure did.
Okay. Went right past me, obviously.
So there's a note on one of the pages that has past followers and Horsemen of Apocalypse on it.
Okay.
It has Fabian Cortez, who is one of Magneto's acolytes. We have Caliban, who is one of the name. Yeah, he's one of the Morlocks. He became a horseman at one point.
Yeah.
We have Warren Worthington III. So we have Angel, or Archangel, in there. Abraham Kiros, he's listed on that part. And then there's two names below his. One of them just says Plague, And Plague is a Morlock who in the also original animated series became Pestilence, the Horseman Pestilence, during the same time that Abraham was War. And then the name under that says A. Rolfson, which is a reference to Autumn Rolfson, who is in that same episode back in the original animated series. She becomes Famine. So we have those other three, all four of them, because Warren was Death during that time. So we have all of those horsemen in the 90s listed right there.
Cool.
And then there is another note lower in that page that has an L. Simonson and a J. Geis. And so those are references to Louise Simonson. People in the comics world also lovingly call her Wheezy. And then Jackson Geis. So Louise Simonson was a longtime writer on various X titles in the 80s and the 90s, including New Mutants and X Factor. And then Jackson Geis was also a comic artist and writer who worked on X-Men, New Mutants, and more, also during the 90s. So those are just some fun comic shout-outs.
Yeah, just a little paying some homage to them. Cool.
And then another note in Cable's journal says, there's a note that just says Legacy Virus. And so the Legacy Virus is a virus. It's a very big storyline in the 90s in the comics. It's a virus that was created that only affects and targets mutants and killed a whole bunch of mutants during the 90s. It's modeled kind of after the AIDS crisis that happened also in the 90s, because it's happening. Yep. It's reflecting like what was happening in real life at the same time in the 90s. I don't like seeing a reference to it because it scares me and I don't want to see it in the show. So I hope it is just a reference. That's all of his journal. So that I saw in terms of Easter eggs.
Yeah, little Easter eggs.
Okay, here we go. The captured and the rescued mutants that X Factor had. So
I can't believe you knew all these, because none of them look familiar to me at all.
I knew a majority of them.
Wow.
So it's a long list, and I'm just going to rapid fire. We're not going into powers or anything, because I don't got time for that. So this is in no particular order who I saw. Nature Girl, Sync, iBoy, Skin, Mondo, Dust, Artie, Loa, the Stepford Cuckoos, who are the ones that all look like triplets, who all were dressed the same. They're called the Stepford Cuckoos. They are clones of Emma Frost. Yep. So Chamber, Angel, not different Angel than Archangel.
Okay.
Her name is actually Angel, but she has wings, so she goes by Angel. Beak, Anole, Rockslide, Maggie, who is the little girl with the big eyes that Jubilee kept kind of focusing on. Her name is Maggie.
Looks like a little alien.
Glob Herman, Pixie, and No Girl. That is who, and plus all of the ones that were in the beginning of the episode. So Quentin, Monet,
boy,
all of them. They were all there too. So that's who I all saw. I don't know if there were any more, but that's who I noticed.
Jeez. Well, I mean, they're all free now. I wonder if they'll have a little moment or two in the next episode.
I do think we'll see a few more, at least in one more upcoming episode, because the scene that I was like, I know what's happening here. I saw a couple of them in that.
Yeah. Cool.
But I don't think we're going to see it till at least after the second part, episode 4 of Rise of Apocalypse.
Well, that's still fun. Why not?
Yeah, for the people who know, they're like, I saw that mutant.
Yeah. You were in there. I saw Pixie. She was alive. Or I saw Beak.
Yes.
Or the Stepford Cuckoos.
Yeah.
Cuckoos.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So funny. Well, let's get to our favorite scenes for episode 2.
Like, what is it with guys and explosions anyway?
Or girls in this case. Jubilee.
Yeah, Jubilee this time.
I think yours is first.
Mine's
also.
first. Okay, I'm calling this one Shakedown, and this is when Polaris and Havok are interrogating Jubilee. But she doesn't give him anything and gets Polaris thinking afterwards. We've already discussed it all, but here is the clip.
Come on. The guy left you high and dry without a second thought. I mean, do you really want to take the fall for this? Just tell us what Cable's up to and where he's going.
Jubilee, I'm sure you didn't mean to get caught up in all of this. You're just a kid. Look, X Factor was formed by the government to legally police threats, mutant and human. We're just trying to keep order by easing tensions. Help us help you.
You mean help you round up mutants? That's your plan for easing tensions? With the violent bigots who are attacking us? You guys are gonna have to bring in a telepath, because I'm not talking. You have one of those on your C-list roster? Knockoff Cyclops?
Maybe give us a minute, Alex?
I'll do better than that. I'll give you 2.
This is who you left the X-Men to work with?
I could say the same for you. Working for a vigilante merc like Cable.
Okay. His methods are definitely a little questionable. I'm working on that. But at least he's on a mission worth fighting for. Sorry I can't say the same for you.
We've all lost a lot, Jubilee. I was a foster kid when the professor took me in. The X-Men became my family, too. Now they're gone, and you and I are all that's left. We're all doing our best to honor them.
If the professor was here, do you think he'd be proud of what you're doing? Heck, I'm wondering if he'd be proud of me.
Got a fresh cell for you, hotshot.
There you go. Just a little interrogation there, but yeah, that has some of Julie's quick wit in there.
Yes. Yeah, so mine is towards the end of the episode, again. I called it Kids Are Tougher Than You Think, because it's when they're all back on the X-Force jet, whatever it is. And it's Jubilee pointing out to Cable, like, why she did what she did and what their mission should be, kind of pointing out that, like, we have to fight also for the betterment of the world now, how we want it.
Yeah.
And then it's Cable giving that line of "kids are tougher than you think," and just a nice wrap up to this episode.
X-Force's blatant acts of rebellion will not be tolerated. But rest assured, X-Factor is here to protect humans and mutants, and we will not rest until these fugitives are brought to justice and prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
A lot of heat on us.
Congrats, team. Being national fugitives should really help us stay under the radar.
We did what needed to be done.
Perhaps, but at what cost?
Less than the cost of doing nothing. If we're not going to defend the world Apocalypse wants to destroy, what's the point of even fighting him? Hey, you all holding up okay? Yeah. I know this has been...
She's right, you know, but Apocalypse is still out there. Where we're going, it's no place for a bunch of kids.
Trust me. Kids are tougher than you think.
Yeah. So just a nice wrap up there. And I mean, in reality, my favorite scene is long and full of music, and it's the whole like escape scene, but can't use that one.
that one would be a tough one. We might even get in trouble on YouTube playing that song. Yeah. But and fun fact, in case you guys don't know, the guy voicing Cable voiced Gambit in all our Gambit clips. So he voiced Gambit originally. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Chris Potter.
Yes, Chris Potter, and he's excellent. So, all right, there you go. Well, it is time to get to feedback. Finally, let's get to some feedback.
It's time for feedback, punks.
All right, so we're going to kick it off with email from Comic Geek Kev. Why don't you read this one, Abby?
Yeah, it's been a while. Let's see if I got my reading rhythm. Good day, X-Casters. Did we ever come up with a name? Did we have a name?
No, and looking at what
you can call us whatever you want, yeah.
they're all coming up with names for us, so.
A couple quick notes on the first 2 episodes. First, the titles are great. I know you're covering the first 2 episodes, according to Facebook. That's correct. But I think dropping the 3 right off the bat makes sense. Even though the team is split up in different time periods, I feel like it makes a more cohesive story to put all of these together. I agree with that. So we can... 4 watchers at home, so we could see all 3 of the teams at least, what they're up to.
True.
Mm-hmm. Storm pulling the solar energy was beautifully done. Absolutely stunning. The animation in general on this show is pretty good, but this scene was amazing. Mother Scani never says who she really is, does she? I may have missed it, and the marks on her face wouldn't mean anything to the team at this point. And I don't think the characters in the show are seeing the phoenix in her eyes. No, we are.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, though. But it does sound like he knows who it is, too. So.
Well, speaking of the marks on her face, I mean, she could have been one of the Sentinels, too.
No.
So
it's different.
I know, but it's similar, right? Like, you could get it confused.
You could. If you didn't know what the marks were from the comics, then
Yeah.
I don't think
I
you'd
remember
know.
she always looked like that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep going. The second episode. Wow, just wow. The X-Force intro proves you should never skip the opening credits of this show. Very cool.
Nope. Never.
So great to see Polaris, Havok, Strong Guy, and Wolfsbane. Multiples there too, but that was me adding that in.
Yeah. What's wrong with Multiple Man? Don't like him, Comic Geek
I
Kev?
think
Huh?
you just forgot Multiple Man. He didn't say anything. So I hope we see more of them. And Jubilee under Cable's training was amazing. Turned her from kind of a joke to a serious player. Her escape was epic. Always good to see the cameos throughout. Some I know, some I don't. I'm sure Shadowcat will fill us in for the characters that have a history in the comics. Were the blonde girls the Stepford Cuckoos? Yes, they were. Does Emma not know they are captured? I don't know. It's hard to say at this point, because it could be Emma also two-timing and being like, I'm going to send X-Force, so X-Force infiltrates X-Factor so the Cuckoos can get out, because they are clones of her. Speaking of Emma, she was definitely about to entertain those guys.
Yeah, she was bringing two guys back to her office. That's right. And they looked really disappointed that she shut the door on them.
Yeah.
Only an adult would catch that.
That is 80s Emma. Anyway, a great start to the season. Can't wait for more. Until next time, this is Comic Geek Kev, turning the page. Oh my gosh, he got a PS. Here we go. How did I forget Archangel and Psylocke? I really like the way they showed Psylocke's use of her psychic powers. I'm probably forgetting someone else as well.
That was the second email he sent, so...
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. Yes, Psylocke is just awesome. Freaking awesome. I love her so much. That was just very, very cool. Like we said last week, all my favorites are here. Poor Abby's got none. All right, next up is a voicemail from, which is so funny. This episode is about X-Force.
Yeah, he's probably happy. He's
And we got
X-Force.
X-Force 11 sending us a voicemail. It's kind of, I wonder if he mentions that.
Well, hello, X-Men fans. It's Jeff, X-Force 11, leaving my feedback about the first 2 episodes of Season 2 of X-Men 97. I absolutely loved both these first 2 episodes. The first episode was outstanding. Seeing Cyclops being that strong leader and Jean being there beside him was amazing. Getting to see the Storm that I've known and loved all through the years was great, and just getting to see a lot of the lore of how they combined the time in the comics where Cyclops and Jean were there as Red and Slim in the future being a parent to Nathan was really cool. And the second episode I really liked because, hence my name, I am been a fan of X-Force since the beginning. New Mutants was the first comic that I read of the X-Men line, and then Cable making them into X-Force was great. Now, I must say, it is hard to see all of these mutants, especially the ones they rescued, that combine the Gen X era and like the X-Men Academy era all in together is kind of interesting, but it's hard for me to look at X-Force, this initial group, not being the initial group from the comics, missing several players, the New Mutants, because Sunspot is the only one that's getting featured so far. I really miss Canonball and a lot of the other characters who were original New Mutants that I think are getting short-shafted here. But I do like the way that Jubilee is coming in and having an effect on Cable, and it is interesting to see how that's working. But overall, just an amazing start to this season, and I am just really geared up and cannot wait to see what's next. All right, those are my thoughts. X-Force is out.
Is X-Force really out? It seems like they're going to be here all season.
Yeah.
So who's missing when he's talking about not all the New Mutants are part of X? Who all transitioned to X-Force that we don't have here?
Yeah, so I said it, but the New Mutants book, the original one,
kind of became X-Force because Cable came in at the very end and kind of built his own team out of a lot of the New Mutants. So Sunspot's there, Cannonball. We have Boom Boom is there. And I actually think she might have been in the prison too. She might have been a cameo. I have to double check that. But now that he said that, and I said, "Oh wait, I think I saw Boom Boom," so she might be there. But yeah, Boom Boom, Sunspot, Cannonball. So not a New Mutant, but Domino was there at the beginning. Deadpool was actually a character featured at the very, very end of New Mutants, but a very, very different Deadpool than we know now. He was very serious.
What about Magic? Was she not in there at some time?
She was dead at this point, unfortunately.
Okay.
By the legacy virus, which is why I don't want to see it.
Oh. Well, we saw that scene with Colossus. I wonder if that's what it is.
I know, and I don't want it to be a legacy virus, but I was like, oh no, I saw that Easter egg. I hope that doesn't mean something for future episodes.
Oh, boy.
Gosh, who else was there? I can't remember. Wolfsbane. I think
we got Wolfsbane.
Was there.
I do have to say Wolfsbane was pretty useless in this episode because when the X Factor and X Force started to fight, all we saw was her run around the rafters. She wasn't even in the fight.
Yeah, she's also not like, she keeps getting put on a lot of teams that are big, like fighting and like CIA, secret spy ops, but she's not like much of a fighter. Like she's very Catholic and has a lot of guilt there and doesn't want to hurt people. But she keeps being put on these teams that have to do a lot of hurting, which is very interesting. Yeah.
Well, I'd be curious, X-Force, because we've never talked, because I podcast with him about DC stuff, but I'd be curious to ask him. Maybe you can let us know in your next feedback. What team do you like the best? Would you choose X-Factor over the Justice League?
Or X-Force?
Or X-Force over the Justice League? Like, which do you actually prefer? What was your favorite? Which did you enjoy more? Because I know we cover all the DC content together, but are you like me? Are you secretly actually you prefer X-Men stories over DC stuff? I'm kind of curious. Let us know. Next up is an email from Perry White, and he says, "Hey, Legends of X-Mania." See, they're all making up names for us. J. Jonah Jameson here. Oh, he changed his name too. It is not Perry White. J. Jonah Jameson here to talk X-Men 97. I forgot he did that for us last season. Let's start with Days of Past Future. The only person that makes a better entrance than Storm is Thor arriving in Wakanda. Her entrance against the Horsemen was epic. Oh yeah, I remember that scene with Thor. That was pretty cool. Feral Wolverine is my favorite Wolverine. Without adamantium poisoning him constantly, his healing factor is off the charts. Oh yeah, that's true. I clock that Scott always calls Nathan son, but Jean calls him Nathan because he was born of Madeline. I still love that their bond is strong, regardless. I love the moment when Scott and Jean tell Nathan they're his parents and inspire him. It's pretty emotional. I could listen to Alison Seeley Smith as Storm all day. I need her to do an audiobook of some poetry. Yeah, her voice is... she is Storm. Her voice is so... commanding and godlike and like mystical. There's some amazing sound to her. I did get to meet her. I didn't get any.
I met her. Yeah.
I didn't get a voice thing for her, but she was pretty cool. She's a nice lady.
Yeah, very Shakespeare trained, so she's got a lot of that. You can hear a lot of that theater grandeur in her.
Yes, theater on stage. Yeah. Okay, on to a force to be reckoned with. X-Men has the most unskippable theme of all time, and this episode proved that tenfold. Hearing Jubes ask, "This team got a name?" They go straight into a slightly darker and more metal version of the theme, and title cards was a stroke of brilliance. See? Told ya. That moment was just amazing. You cannot skip the intro because you don't know what you're going to miss. Watching Jubilation Lee show off the experience she got from meeting her older self, plus training with Psylocke and Cable, was an adrenaline rush. That scene was a combination of Star-Lord meets Rorschach. I can never say that word.
Rorschach, yeah.
Rorschach, complete with locking door behind her, trapping the guards in with her. It was frickin' awesome. It so was.
Yes.
I also love that even though Cable leads X-Force with deadly intentions, he still listens to advice from Jubilee and Sunspot, proving that he's strong and can be compassionate, qualities of a great leader. Yep. Okay, here's my last thought. I must confess the timey-wimey gets me confused. Obviously, the initial Cable we met didn't meet Scott and Jean in the future, but the Cable we see in 97 leading X-Force obviously does. It makes my head spin.
We were trying to suss it out. I don't know if any of our answers helped or just made you more confused.
Hopefully. All right, I can't wait to talk to y'all about the next episodes. This season is off to a really solid start, and that's more than I can say for the next edition of The Bugle. I wish I had pictures of that wall-crawling menace, but I can't remember the guy who used to take all his pictures. Screw it. Find me anyone to get me a picture of Spider-Man. I'll make him infamous.
Nice.
He's playing off of the Spider-Man Brand New Day movie coming out. Which, by the way, oh my god, the latest trailer hits you right here. Oh my god, I can't wait for that movie to come out. End of this month. All right, excellent. Guys, I get it. Excellent with all the X's. I'm glad you guys are here for feedback because this show is fantastic. We want to hear all your guys' thoughts. We're having fun. I'm so glad everybody is just loving it right off the bat. So if you want to be part of the show and join everybody, because we want more feedback every week, is what you do.
If you would like to be a part of the show, you can send in your feedback to tomorrowslegendspodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter @tomorrowslegends. We'd love you to join our Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/tomorrowslegends and become part of the community.
All right, well, next week on X-Men 97, we'll be taking a look at the next two episodes, episode 3 and 4, called Rise of Apocalypse Part 1 and 2, which is why we decided we didn't want to include it this week, because it was only Part 1. So we're going to do both parts together next week, and the only description for these episodes says, an unexpected visitor upends the plan to rescue the team from ancient Egypt. That's it.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's the only synopsis we get. So get your thoughts in for the next two episodes for next Sunday, because that is what we are deeming is X-Men Day for this Season 2 coverage of X-Men 97. We'll be recording on Sunday nights, and that is it. So you got till Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, roughly, to get in your feedback. So keep it coming. We're excited to have you part of the show, and
Yes,
I'm excited.
I'm excited it's back, and we can talk about it.
Oh my gosh, and I mean, Shadowcat here is just bringing us all the lore, all the encyclopedic
So
knowledge.
much.
I'm just freaking out. I'm just loving all of it, so it's good stuff.
Yes.
Such good stuff. But anyway, thanks again for being part of the show, guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon in a week. This is Havok, signing off.
And this is Shadowcat. I survived the experience. Hope you did too.
Tomorrow's Legends is not affiliated with CBS, Warner Brothers, HBO, or the CW. We're a fan-made podcast for entertainment purposes only and are part of the Cybercast network. Be sure to check out our partner shows, The Mandalore and Dive into DC, covering your favorite Star Wars and DC Comics properties. Thanks for listening.
And Firefly still flying.